What if Naruto was even greater prodigy than Minato? Part 2. Forest of Death. As the assault continued on the dead body of what was Hyuga, Naruto continued his assault, punching chunks of bone into the tree while giving of a wicked smile and making feral screams over and over. The Hyuga guards rushed and tried to subdue Naruto, only to have their hands burned by the half of the red chakra surrounding his body. Jiro screamed, "His chakra won't let us near him." Karo looked at his and Jiro's bleeding hands and noticed Naruto wasn't doing anything, just standing there looking at the dead body of Ryuk. Hana, Jiro and Karo looked as he was just standing there looking at his bloody claws, talking to himself. "What's this? This power?" Naruto grinned and said out loud, "I like it." He turned around to see Hinata laying there. He slowly walked over to her, passing the two Hyugas. Jiro and Karo took out their kunais ready to throw them when Hana stopped them. Wait. Let's see what he does." Naruto walked over until he was sitting next to her. "Hi Inate. He brushed his hand over her, but his chakra hand didn't affect her. At that moment Hinata woke up, slowly looking into Naruto's red eyes. "Naruto-kun." When she reached out and touched his face, her hands passed through the chakra cloak without harming her. Naruto stared at her and said, "It hurts, this power. I like it, but it hurts a lot." Hinata whispered, "Byakugan." She slowly placed her hands on his chest and began pumping her chakra in him. Her blue chakra began how it looked to everyone else, like it danced around the red. Hana watched from the ground as his red chakra began to turn completely silver before disappearing. Slowly the silver chakra began to disappear as well. His claws went back to normal, his whisker marks went slim, his teeth retracted, and then he closed his eyes and fell asleep. Hinata held onto him as he fell and kept whispering, "Sleep now. Everything will be alright." She began rocking back and forth, crying. Jiro took this chance to walk over to Hana and help her up and walked her over to the kids. At this moment Karo picked up Neji and also walked over to Hinata and Naruto. Hana looked at Jiro and Karo and told them, "You won't be persecuted in any way, you two were forced into this." The two looked at her and bowed as best they could. "We thank you, Lady Hana, we don't deserve this." Both men swelling up in tears. "Allow me to explain to Hayashi what happened here today." "Okay, you two." The two Hyuga men nodded with tears still flowing from their eyes. Hinata didn't realize her Byakugan was still activated before her eyes shot up, and she told her mother, "Oka-san, Kusan is close by and the Hokage as well as some other ninja are closing in." Hana, Jiro and Karo all activated their Byakugans and were relieved to see that reinforcements had arrived. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto was again within his mindscape, but this time he was in front of the cage. The Kibai watched as he slept and kept a protective guard over him. "You act just like them." Naruto slowly began to wake up and made eye contact with the Biju. "Well, good morning, Warden. Where am I?" "Physically you're in Konoha's hospital. Mentally you're within your OW in mind." Naruto sat up. "How long was I sleeping for?" The Kibai looked at him and said, 2 days. "Give it another 3 and you will awaken. I have been healing you quicker than I intended to. I know I said a month, but I will heal you faster. I don't really like hospitals." Naruto could see the full body of the Nine Tails. He was at least 100 meters tall, with reddish-orange fur, Nine Tails slowly waving in the air of its cage, and red eyes with black slits in them. Naruto looked at the fox before him and asked, Are you by chance the demon who attacked Konoha 8 years ago?" There was an awkward silence until, "Yes, I am the one and only Kibai no Kitsune." Naruto wide-eyed and said, "But the 4th Hokage killed you. He sacrificed himself to kill you. How are you alive and why are you in my head?" The Kibai laughed and said, "I can't be beaten so easily. 5 cities full of ninjas couldn't kill me, an army of the daimyo's soldiers couldn't kill me, out of those 5 cities 2 had cages in them and they couldn't. You can't surely believe that the Mizukage and the Hokage could win, so instead the 4th sealed me away inside a newborn baby. You Naruto looked shocked and couldn't believe what he just heard. So everything I was told about that battle was a lie. My life was a living hell because you were sealed inside me? Kyuubi nodded. That must be why everyone calls me demon and monster. Kyuubi spoke. No, they mean to call me those things. You are a normal 8-year-old boy. Naruto's fear and depression disappeared and he said, I thought that you were evil. So why help me? I was evil. When I was sealed inside you, the fourth Hokage separated my good half from my evil half. The good was sealed in you and my evil was, well, let's say it was eaten. Naruto looked and said, eaten by what? Kyuubi only looked at him and Naruto decided that it was a touchy subject. Naruto didn't want to but asked anyway. Why me? Why seal you inside me? Couldn't the fourth have found some other baby? Naruto began to tear up. Why would my parents allow that to happen to me? That I cannot answer. Only the ones who live outside your mind know that answer. By the way, you should be proud of your girl. Naruto's eyes widened. What happened to Hinata? Is she safe? Is she okay? Where is she? The Kyuubi couldn't help but smile. To answer your questions, SHE forced her chakra into you after you mauled the Hyuga elder, forcing my chakra back inside you. SHE is safe. SHE is okay. And SHE's always at your hospital bed. Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. Kyuubi silently thought to himself, that girl is tough. SHE forced my chakra back into my system using willpower, determination and love. Silence was in the air before the Kyuubi spoke again. We have 3 days to spend together with each other. Let's make the best of it and pass conversation. Naruto, looking at his prisoner, nodded. He decided to ask, what's in those smaller cells down the hall? Kyuubi looked at the ones visible to him and told him. Those cells hold all of your most painful memories that you subconsciously locked away, hoping for them never to resurface. Naruto only looked at those cells and told himself he was safer with Kyuubi than with those memories. Naruto's back was facing Kyuubi, so he didn't notice Kyuubi staring at a cell in particular. Outside Konoha village the day of the attempted attack over here, we found him. A man wearing an Anbu mask with a black cloak on called over 3 more Anbu. Pointing at the dead body of Hisashi. Are you sure this is Hisashi Hyuga? The Captain Anbu nodded. Take him to Konoha's morgue. I will report back to the Hokage and Hayashi-sama. Make sure no one sees you. A more masculine Anbu picked up Hisashi's dead body and they then headed back to Konoha. Konoha Hospital. Naruto and Neji were sharing a hospital room. The two received numerous flowers and gifts from their classmates. Neji woke up the day of the attack, but under Hayashi's orders he was to stay for at least 3 days. Hinata had snuck out of her hospital room and went to the room and laid on the bed with Naruto, singing a lullaby to him as he slept. Neji, who watched the whole thing and couldn't help but drift off to sleep listening to Hinata's lullaby as well. From the hospital door, Sarutobi, Hana, Hayashi, and Kano were watching as Hinata was being protective of him as he slept. Hokage-sama. Am I to assume that the whole situation in the forest is taken care of? Hana was holding Hanabi in a wheelchair, which was only temporary until her system from her waist down returned to normal. I reported to the rest of the council members that he was being trained in controlling his Biju. Some bought this idea, while others took more convincing, but decided it was best not to ask any more questions. The ninja and villagers who felt his chakra think that we were testing everyone to have a feel for chakra spikes. What did you do with the 2 Hyuga guards who took them there in the first place? Hayashi looked at Hana, who only smiled at him. They have been forgiven for their crimes. They were forced into it by the clan's former head, so they are not to be fully blamed. Kana spoke up, but as branch family members, I've ordered them to work twice as hard and are to remain in the compound until I think they are allowed to leave. Sarutobi had his pipe in his hand and refrained from lighting it. How long does Tsunade give Naruto before he wakes up? Hana looked at the Hokage. Lady Tsunade says he should wake up sometime this week. His body wasn't used to this sudden change in chakra. Hana looked back into the room. We have Hinata to thank for keeping Naruto under control. She watched as Hinata kept brushing her hand through his blonde hair. The Hokage looked at her before asking, about that. What did his chakra look like? Hana made eye contact before answering. His chakra was. Well, it was a combination of red and silver. I can't explain it, but the red was wild and out of control while the silver was moving slowly and calmly. The third spoke up. If I remember correctly, there was a ninja in the archives whose chakra wasn't blue, but it was said to have been a kind of metallic silver. Is there a connection between Naruto and the other ninja? Hayashi spoke. What is this ninja's name? Sarutobi replied, I can't remember his name. I believe Jiraiya might know his name. At that moment a woman with short black hair walked over to them with a clipboard in hand. Lord Hokage, the Anbu who were sent out to find Hisashi have returned. This caught their attention quick. Kana spoke up first. Where is he, Shizune? Shizune took a minute before saying, his body is in the morgue waiting for examination. Hana wheeled over to Kana and brought her close enough to hug the crying women. Hayashi told them, Hisashi will have a hero's burial in the Hyuga graveyard in 2 days. No one else wanted to speak. They all slowly entered Naruto's room. Sarutobi sat next to Naruto's bed and Hana was closer to Hinata, rubbing her daughter's head. Hayashi and Kana were by Neji's side. Kana looked at the one great gift her and Hisashi ever gotten. Shizune was standing outside, smiled and closed the door, continuing her daily routines. Naruto's mindscape after 3 days. So do you understand? That's how you can tap into my power momentarily. In the time the two spent inside Naruto's mind, Kibai was explaining some moves he had knowledge of and how to control his power even if it causes harm to him. Oh, I see now. Thanks a lot again, Kibai-senpai. Kibai chuckled that this boy was so respectful. Naruto, when you reach the age of 12 I will train you in transforming and control of my chakra so that you don't always end up in the hospital. Naruto's eyes gleamed and said, that sounds awesome. Why can't you tell me now? 1. Your body can't handle this train. 2. We don't have that kind of time. You will wake up soon. A little disappointed, he looked down. Don't worry, we can still talk through a mind link, only you will be able to hear me. Just think of whatever you want to say to me and I will hear it. I can't thank you enough for helping me save Hinata and everyone else. Thank you again. Naruto looked at his hands as they disappeared. What's happening? You're going home. Before I forget. Ask them about your silver chakra. Naruto looked at him confused. Ask them about it and you will have your answer. Naruto nodded as his body disappeared. Kibai at the last minute yelled, there are 8 more. After Naruto completely disappeared, Kibai looked at the same cell he looked at when Naruto first asked him about them. I think that boy will do great things. What do you think? From inside the cell he was staring at, which had a number 1 above it, a shadow figure walked into view. It's one of those things where you can only see a silhouette of the person. Konoha Hospital 2 days later, 11 o'clock at night. Naruto began rolling a little bit. Neji was released the day before for his father's burial. Still heartbroken of his father's death, but felt he should be by his brother's side, vowing to never let another precious person to him suffer or die. He was reading a scroll that was about the rotation technique, when he noticed Naruto moving. He arose from his seat and made his way to the bed Hinata and Naruto were sleeping in when he yelled out to the Hyuga guards standing by, "Hey, Naruto's waking up!" The guards standing outside came in. One of the guards looked at the other, "Inform Lord Hayashi the boy is waking up." Naruto's eyes slowly opened. He was laying at an angle so that the first thing he would see would be Hinata. Naruto's eyes opened to see her sleeping next to him. He blushed slightly before thinking, what a way to wake up. Konoha Hospital. Naruto was being released from the hospital the morning after he woke up. Hinata went to Naruto's room to escort him back home. When she went inside, she saw Tsunade and Shikamaru by his bed as he was putting his shirt on. Hinata, come to pick up your lover?" Tsunade teased. Hinata only had a small blush. Naruto looked at Tsunade before saying, "Bachan, leave her alone. I'm glad you came to pick me up, Hinaheim." Giving her his smile. Shikamaru sighed and said, "Hey Hinata-san, how are you?" Hinata bowed to Shikamaru, then walked over to hug Naruto, then held his hand. "I'm doing fine, Shikamaru-san." She turned to Naruto and told him, "Of course I would come get you." Tsunade thought, how sweet. She then walked to the door and said, "Well, you three should move on out of here." The three ninjas nodded and walked out toward the lobby, only to see Hana, Little Hanbai, Neji, Kana, Shino, Choji, Ino, Sakura, Kiba, and Shizune. All except Hanabi, who said, "Good morning, Naruto." Naruto was stunned to see so many people here to greet him. He couldn't help but get teary-eyed. Naruto said, "Thanks everyone for coming to see me." They all smiled and Naruto looked at Hinata and she was smiling too, and they and Shikamaru walked over to the group leaving the hospital. Konoha's main entrance. A tall, broad-shouldered man wearing a green outfit with a long red vest, a big metal forehead protector and 2 red lines going from his eyes down his face. When he entered he said, "Feels good to be home after a whole year. I wonder how my godson is doing? I should go visit him after I see the cage." He continued his walk to the tower to discuss important information with him. Hokage Tower. Naruto's friends all left one by one as they got closer to the Hokage Tower. Hana took Hanabi with her to get some rest back home. They were being escorted by Hayashi's most trusted guards. Kana had to go to a meeting. Neji left back home with Hana to continue his training. Naruto and Hinata, escorted also, were told to go to the Hokage Tower and that Hayashi and Sarutobi were already there waiting for them. They began their walk to Tower's entrance. Naruto turned to look at Hinata. Hinaheim. Hinata turned to look at him only to have Naruto kiss her cheek and say, "Your good luck is the reason I'm still here today. So I'm returning the favor." Hinata blushed slightly. "Naruto-kun, you don't have to repay me." The two walked through the building till they reached the cage's off-store. Naruto and Hinata stood there holding each other's hand before he knocked on the door. They waited only a few seconds before hearing, "Come in." The door's unlocked. Speaking loud enough to hear from the other side of the door. Naruto turned the doorknob. He and Hinata entered the room to see Sarutobi at his desk, Hayashi sitting at the sofa to the side, and Jiraiya standing by Sarutobi's desk. Naruto's eyes shot open and he ran over to Jiraiya yelling, "Jisan!" Hugging Jiraiya as hard as he could with a smile on his face. Jiraiya looked at him and said, "Good to see you again, kid. You seem to have gotten a little taller since the last time I saw you." Naruto at that moment asked him, "Hey, did you bring me something for my birthday you missed?" Jiraiya had the same smile Naruto had and said, "You know I always have a present for you. But first." His face then became serious. "Naruto, I want to know what happened to you in the forest." Naruto stopped smiling and looked at him, then to Sarutobi and Hayashi. He saw that Hinata was holding Hayashi's hand and sitting with him on the sofa. Sarutobi spoke up, "Naruto, you are not in trouble, we just want to know what happened to you in the forest." The blonde boy looked back at Jiraiya and told them what happened from when they got to the forest to when he blacked out. He also told him about him meeting his prisoner. "I woke up and I found myself in a sewer-like prison. It was cold, damp, and scary, but I wasn't alone in there. I saw him." The three elders and Hinata continued listening with eagerness. "I saw Kiba in one of the biggest cells I've ever seen." Hinata couldn't believe what she heard. Naruto had the demon sealed inside him that everyone feared. Everyone in the room gasped and Sarutobi spoke up, "Did he tell you anything?" Naruto shook his head. "At first he only told me to use my chakra to focus it at my eyes. I felt, well, anger and hatred." Hinata was still shocked and some tears were visible, but she wasn't afraid of him. She felt her father tighten his grip. Hinata looked up at him to see him mouth the words, "Don't be frightened." Everyone heard Naruto say something, but everyone turned to him again and listened. Something felt strange. Some parts of my mind told me to kill while the other parts that were calm and made me feel sincere told me to hold back after I attacked. Jiraiya asked Naruto. If you could say the color of your rage chakra you felt, what color would you say it was? Naruto said, red. What about the color of the calm side? Naruto paused. I'm not sure how to say it. It felt like it was silver. Sarutobi looked at Jiraiya, then turned to the kids and said, Naruto, Hinata. This is to be kept between the five of us. This is considered an S-rank secret. It is not to be spoken outside these walls. Understood. The two nodded and Hinata moved over to hold Naruto's hand. Hayashi told the two kids, you two can go home. The Hyuga guards are waiting outside for you two. He walked over to them, leaned down and kissed Hinata on her head and said, remember, kiss you mother once for you, then kissed her again on the same spot and said, and twice for me, okay? Hinata smiled and told him. Okay-san. Hayashi turned to Naruto, don't feel no ill will toward the two Hyugas that took you to the forest, they were forced to do it, so don't hold it against them. When I get home I want you to take it easy. Naruto nodded and turned to Jiraiya, you'll come by to want you Jisan? Jiraiya nodded, yay. I will come by and teach you some cool jutsu. I will also give you your present too. Naruto smiled and pulled Hinata at the room, but turned again and asked, by the way. The three looked at him. The Kyuubi said before I left my mind, he said there are 8 more. Do you know what he meant by that? Jiraiya smiled, don't worry about it. It's probably nothing too important, I'll have it figured out in no time, so run along now. Naruto nodded that he and Hinata left the office. The two ran back to the front entrance of the building to meet the guards. Hinata was walking with Naruto thinking, Naruto has Kyuubi sealed within himself. But he is Naruto and Kyuubi is Kyuubi. I won't get the two confused. Naruto didn't notice Hinata staring at him, he was too focused on what present Jiraiya was going to get him. The 3 old men could see the kids walking away with their escorts, then turned to each other and put on serious expressions. Hayashi asked Jiraiya, so what do you think? 8 more? Jiraiya raised his shoulders in a no-clue manner. Hayashi spoke, 8 more could refer to anything. I'm more worried about his red and silver chakra. Jiraiya said, it matches from what legends say. The Sage of 6 Paths chakra was a metallic silver. Rumor says he split his abilities between his twin sons at birth and separated them at birth from each other on opposite sides of the elemental lands. From what we've just heard, Naruto's got the chakra and Pain has the eyes. Guess it's not a rumor no more. Sarutobi smoked his pipe and was leaned back in his chair. So what did Pain have to say when you told him about Naruto? Jiraiya told him, well, he was more than eager to hear what I had to say. Both Naruto and Pain are distant relatives. Pain has the Daijutsu while Naruto has the chakra. I'm not sure what either side of their powers can truly do. Naruto has the blood of the Uzumaki clan who descend from Rikuto, the Namikaze blood who are one of the first 20 organized clans in the ninja world, the Great Sage chakra, and he has a 9 Tails demon chakra. Things won't stay quiet for long. Hayashi wanted to know, what does this Pain intend to do? Jiraiya let out a big sigh before answering, he wants to train Naruto personally so that Naruto can apparently help him with his goals. Sarutobi stood up and demanded, what goals? Jiraiya turned around quickly, he didn't say only that he wants to train him to become. Become what? Both Hayashi and Sarutobi asked. Jiraiya told them, he says he has obtained the power to call himself the second Sage of 6 Paths. He wants Naruto to become the third. Both Sarutobi and Hayashi looked at Jiraiya, I can't say for sure what Pain's goal is. What I really want to ask is who is going to be Naruto's sensei after the academy. Hayashi was also interested and the two turned to Sarutobi. Uchiha will be Naruto's sensei? He put in a request at the beginning of Naruto's first day at the academy. Hayashi gritted his teeth at the name, why would he want to train him? Jiraiya happily announced, doesn't matter, well everything is good then. If Naruto is with Itachi, then if Pain is that desperate to get to him, then Itachi could possibly hold him off long enough for him to get away. Sarutobi looked at Jiraiya. Do you really think Itachi could win against Pain? I said he could hold him off, not win. People in AIM said that Pain was the one who finished off Hanzo and all of his followers by himself. Sarutobi frowned. Then surely only you or myself would be able to do any real damage to Pain if he comes to the village for Naruto directly. What a situation we have. Jiraiya silent before taking his leave. Well, this meeting was fun, but I have to give Naruto his late birthday gift. Before that though, I'm going to go do my research. The Sennin took his leave, leaving both Hayashi and Sarutobi frowning. Hayashi told Sarutobi, better inform Lady Tsunade to head to the bathhouses so she can lay down the law. Sarutobi agreed. Small explanation over the remaining week. Jiraiya narrowly escapes an angry Tsunade and the Shinigami after he was caught researching. He showed up at the Hyuga compound to give Naruto his present, which was allowing Naruto to sign the Toad Summons Scroll. After a few tries he was able to summon two small toads, Gamakiki and Gamatsu, at the same time, to Naruto's surprise, who were brothers and sons to the boss of the toads. Naruto was off the walls happy that he was able to do this. Hinata and Neji also signed a summons contract. It was their family's summons which allowed them to summon all kinds of birds, which was allowed by Hayashi since he felt that the two were ready for this moment. Hinata summoned a small eagle who had purple and black feathers on the body and had white on its head, with a black tail made of swift feathers that started at its head and went down its back. The eagle was a girl and her name was Toritsu. Neji was able to summon a small hawk. His hawk was black with patches of white on his body, but his tail feathers were long. The hawk was a boy and his name was Toritama. Ironic that Neji and Hinata's summons were cousins as well. Naruto, even though he was supposed to take it easy, he wanted to keep his promise to Hayashi to never slack off again, so he and Neji trained non-stop at the Hyuga dojo, going all out against each other. Hinata was being trained by her father in better using her Juken style. Kano Academy. After missing so many days of class, Naruto made up for it as quick as he could and even did some extra work to keep up with everyone else. It took a week, but he was able to get high enough to be able to have his match against Sasuke. But like it was when Naruto first fought, everyone was silently whispering that Sasuke will win again. Everybody except for Hinata was unaware that Naruto lost on purpose. Naruto was in a crowd watching everyone else fight in the weekly sparring matches the school held, and he was currently watching Hinata and Sakura fight. Sakura wasn't good at any hand-to-hand fighting. Hinata, on the other hand, was trained alongside Naruto, Neji, and other Hyuga kids at least on a daily basis, so her taijutsu was above all the girls in class, but she held 5th place behind, in order, Sasuke, Shino, Naruto, Kiba, then it was Hinata. Everyone watched as Hinata ended the fight with gentle fist, using only going up to 16 palms as not to do a lot of harm to Sakura's chakra network. Sakura shook a little before falling to the ground. Ruka walked over to see Sakura wasn't moving, rose his left hand and pointed to Hinata and said, "Victory goes to Hinata Hyuga." Hinata walked over to Sakura and helped her up, using herself as a human crutch. "Sorry about that, Sakura-chan." Sakura smiled and looked at Hinata and said, "Don't worry so much, Hinata-chan. You were supposed to fight to win, right?" Hinata smiled and helped her to Ruka, who sat the girl down to take a rest. Naruto cheered out, "All right, Hinata-chan, you did great too, Sakura-chan." All the students clapped, then waited for the next match. Mizuki looked at his clipboard and said that Shino and Sasuke fought last week, and so it was Naruto's turn to fight. "I hope Naruto doesn't hold back this time." He walked out some ways before saying, "Okay, next up to fight is Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki." Everyone hushed and watched as the two made their way to the center. Sasuke's ego got the better of him again and he yelled at Naruto, "You ready to lose again, Dobi?" Almost like the first fight where Naruto stood there and said nothing, this time he said, "There's good news today, Sasuke." Sasuke had a confused look and Naruto said, I'm positive that after today you won't be so hostile to me." Sasuke only grunted and took his stance. Naruto took his Muay Thai stance as well. Mizuki rose his right hand and brought it down, yelling "Begin." The two launched themselves at each other. "Begin." Naruto and Sasuke launched themselves at each other. Sasuke threw a left punch aimed for Naruto's head. Naruto dodged underneath it and rushed his right shoulder into Sasuke's chest, knocking him back, and he followed up by punching Sasuke in his stomach. This forced Sasuke to fall down. As he was falling back, he swung his foot straight up to nick the side of Naruto's head from the jaw up. Shaking the hit off, he waited for Sasuke to stand up again. "Nice move, Sasuke. I wasn't expecting that kick." Sasuke was more irritated now that his attack wasn't successful. Sasuke smiled, then ran and attacked Naruto by trying to drop kick Naruto in his chest. Again Naruto dove under Sasuke and sent his hands up, grabbing Sasuke's shoulders, and continued to bring him down, slamming his head onto the concrete. Sasuke felt his skull hit the ground with such force and felt blood come from his head. In a swift movement, Naruto flipped himself over Sasuke, grabbed the ankles of Sasuke's legs and tossed him across the training ground. Sasuke, while in the air, flipped himself and landed on his feet, skidding across the ground 7 feet. He waited again till Sasuke ran at him again. Sasuke sent punch after him over and over. Naruto kept blocking each punch thrown at him. Sasuke took a step forward and brought his fist back and was prepared to hit him, but then felt a sharp pain in his right knee. He hadn't seen Naruto kick Sasuke right on target, crippling him. The amount of pain was too much and he could barely stand up. Naruto saw this as an opportunity and leg swiped Sasuke using his left leg. He brought the same leg straight up and brought it straight down on Sasuke's chest, knocking the wind out of him. Sasuke coughed up some blood, took deep breath, and was on his hands and knees still trying to catch his breath. "How can I be getting beaten so badly? I only grazed him and he's knocking me around. This can't be happening." Sasuke was filled with hate at the thought of a Uchiha being beaten this badly by an urchin. Sasuke looked at Naruto, who seemed to stare back without a care in the world. Sasuke, in a fit of rage, he launched himself at Naruto and he threw a left hook aimed at Naruto's head. Naruto was there to block, but then felt pain in his side. At the last minute he saw Sasuke fake that punch only to be kicked on his left side, stunning him for a moment. After kicking him, Sasuke followed through with an uppercut to the stunned Naruto's face. Sasuke dropped down, bringing himself down to Naruto's waist, and speared Naruto to the ground, hoping to end the fight the same way Naruto did to him in their first fight. Except, Naruto felt him grab his waist, trying to force him down. Naruto wrapped his legs around Sasuke's waist before hitting the ground. Once they did hit the ground, Naruto wrapped his right arm around Sasuke's head in a headlock, with his right forearm on Sasuke's throat. Strangling him, Sasuke was trying desperately to escape by hitting Naruto in his ribs and his head, forcing small trickles of blood to come out of Naruto's nose and barely busting his lower lip. Naruto was ignoring the small pain and continued choking him. Sasuke was beginning to lose consciousness. Every time he tried to pull himself free, Naruto's grip tightened. Naruto talked loud enough for Sasuke to hear. "I call this move the guillotine. Sasuke, listen to me, the more you move, the more pressure I'm going to put on you. Please tap, I don't want to do this." Sasuke chose to ignore Naruto, thinking there was a way to escape, but that thought was fading, just like he was. Before blacking out, he heard him say something else. "There is no shame in submitting, Sasuke." At that moment Sasuke tried even harder to break the grip, but found it useless and was really only tiring himself out even more. He was quickly blacking out from lack of oxygen. Naruto felt Sasuke go limp in his arms and he immediately knew that Sasuke passed out. Naruto let go and left Sasuke laying there passed out. Ruka called the match and quickly ran to Sasuke to check on him and told everyone that he only passed out and that he would be okay. Naruto heard the students badmouth him and call him names over and over, but he learned to ignore them and was more focused on the unconscious Sasuke. Naruto decided to add his 2 cents and spoke, knowing Sasuke couldn't hear him. "Sasuke, I don't know what kind of life you have, And I don't know why you hate me so much. So I can only think that after this fight there is no way we can be friends. From this moment on, Sasuke, you are my enemy, just like how all Uchiha are the enemy to the Hyuga." Naruto stood up slowly and walked away to where Hinata and the others were waiting. Hinata gave Naruto a hug and gave him a kiss on his cheek. "You did it, Naruto-kun. I'm so happy." Ino was stunned at how Naruto refused to badmouth the students. Turning to her friend, she asked, "Hey Sakura." Sakura looked at Ino. "Has Sasuke really ever talked to any of us?" Sakura looked confused and shook her head. "Number. But that's why you and all the other girls are fighting for his attention, so that he would talk to us." Ino had a hard time believing that she could like him after everything he does to ignore them and consider himself above everyone in the school. Looking at Naruto at how happy he is surrounded by the ones who appreciate him, she began to think, maybe I should get to know Naruto-kun a little more instead of trying to get attention from a lost cause. She smiled inwardly. Shikamaru walked over. "Well, you're number one again, how troublesome. Being in the rank I'm in, I won't have to worry about fighting you, Sasuke, Shino, or Kiba." Kiba happily yelled out, "You better watch out, Naruto, I will be coming for that rank soon enough." Shino told Naruto, "Be prepared, I want to fight you the most out of everyone here." Ino walked over to him and smiled, "You are awesome out there, Naruto." Naruto blushed at all the praises he was getting from his friends. Then he heard an all too familiar voice, "That was a good fight, Kit." He smiled and answered, in thought, "Thank you, Kyuubi-senpai. Forget all the names these worthless students are calling you. I'm glad that you took down the Uchiha brat again." Kyuubi was smiled wide. "Yay, I just hoped that we could have become friends." Upon hearing Naruto say this, he interrupted, "Don't let you guard down around any Uchiha. No matter who he or sh he is." Naruto thought, "Why?" Kyuubi sighed, "I'll tell you another day. For now, celebrate your victory with your true friends." Cutting their conversation with each other, Naruto was happy thinking about what he just said about true friends. The ones around him that cared deeply. Mizuki had walked over to where Ruka and Sasuke were, and the two began to talk about the ending of the fight. Mizuki kneeled down next to Sasuke and picked him up. Mizuki had Sasuke on his back and was going to take him away to the nurse to get looked at since he lost some blood from Naruto slamming him on the ground. He turned and he looked at Ruka. It seems Sasuke's pride got to him again. Ruka spoke, "Yeah, I know. That seems to be the Uchiha curse. Sadly, there is nothing we can do about that. When he wants to, he will change. Hopefully for the better." Mizuki nodded, turned and walked back to the school to see the school nurse, hoping that he didn't get any brain damage from the fight. The academy roof, this boy amazes me every time I watch him fight. Yes, it seems your mark on this him is right on target, Ichi-kun. I must say, seeing an Uchiha getting beaten is a lot different than hearing about it. Ichi was wearing the traditional black Uchiha outfit. He turned to look at the women standing next to him. "Well, Aoiheim, you live with him and yet you don't watch any of his training?" The women wore traditional white Hyuga robes with a lavender sash across her waist, think Nagi's outfit in Shippuden, and had dark brown hair. "Just because I live within the clan doesn't mean I can just sit there and watch the younger kids fight in the Hyuga dojo. I have guard duties and of course missions for the cage." "Why are you interested in him in the first place? Don't you want to train one of the other Uchiha kids here at the academy, or even your little brother?" Ichi frowned and looked back at Naruto and said, "Training any of the Uchiha kids is the same no matter how much you change the training sessions. It's simple, you copy something, they copy it back, and then they are considered strong. Even without the sharing, and training them is still the same. I have had enough of it." That's when I found out about Naruto and thought greatly about it. He's different than any other kid in this village. Training him will actually be worth my time and effort and could even be fun. Aoi walked behind him and put her hands on his shoulders and said, "This isn't like you, Ichi. Showing such interest in someone, especially in situations like this." Ichi smirked, turned around and grabbed her waist and pulled her close. Using a sensual tone he said, "I show greater interest in you and you don't seem to complain, lover." His face only continued to get closer to hers. He stopped and stared into her lavender eyes while she stared into his black eyes. Their lips were almost touching each other's at this point and stopped when she spoke. "I hate it when you do this to me and when you talk to me in that kind of tone." "Why?" "It makes me want to agree to anything you ask me to do without question." "Let's put that to the test then, shall we? Let's go to one of those hotels at the edge of the village so no one can hear you scream." Bringing his lips on hers. She was lost in complete bliss, unaware that behind her back he formed a hand sign for the Shunshin technique. The two figures disappeared in the swirl of leaves and no one at the school knew they were there. A cave somewhere. 9 holographic-like figures were inside a damp cave with only their eyes clearly visible. So what is the plan? We are to continue with what was said 2 years ago, Kisame. That sounds fun, fearless leader. Kisame said, "Kukyakaku, it seems that Konoha is becoming quite interesting lately." Pain spoke up, "What are you talking about, Orochimaru?" "Kukyakaku, it seems the Yondaime Hokage's son is becoming quite famous. He's being called the prodigy." Orochimaru smirked. The only female spoke out, "That boy has nothing to do with our organization's planned snake." A man with an orange mask with swirl on the right eye spoke out, "Oh, Konan-sama is hiding something. I wanna know, I wanna know." This one was obviously childish. A man with a Venus flytrap around his body, with his main body being different colors, with the left side being white and the right side black. The black half spoke, "Toby sure is acting childish today." Toby at that moment slumped down, then the white half spoke, "Don't be mean to Toby, Zt. I don't mean to be mean to Toby, Sue." Black sighed. Kisame looked to his left and spoke out again, "You're being awfully quiet over there, Madara-sama." A short man with a deep voice spoke out, "Madara-san will speak when he feels it necessary." The man with long black hair spoke up, "Say Saori-san, you don't need to worry about me. As for the rest of you, the Namikaze boy is of no concern to us. Pain will handle that situation himself. Kakazu, you are a different matter. You're one of the reasons this meeting was called today." A tall man with turquoise eyes and red surrounding them looked up, "You need to stop killing our members. You've killed 3 this past year, with Kitamaru being the 3rd. Good S-class criminals are hard to come by." Kakazu plainly said, "Those fools had no desire to obtain money. Since that's what my position is in this organization, they were no longer needed. Above all, they pissed me off. I can't control my anger when I'm pissed off." Toby comically said, "Oh. Kakazu-sama is so cool, so badass." Orochimaru said, "Kukyakaku, let's finish this little meeting, I have experiments that need tending to." Pain nodded his head, "Very well, Orochimaru and Saori will be paired with each other, Toby and Kisame will be teamed up this time, Zetsu will be off on his own as usual, as will Madara. Finally, Kakazu will work alone until I can find him a replacement partner." Everyone agrees as to who their partner is? Everyone nodded, "Good. Conan and myself will continue operations in Amikagure, Madara will continue his guise as Yondaime Mizukage, Kakazu will obtain funds for our organization, and Orochimaru, Saori, Toby, and Kisame will gather information on the remaining 8 Baiju. Zetsuyu will be the messenger and will send the information that those 4 find and bring it back to me." Each member agreed and each of the members' images began to disappear, leaving only Conan and Nagato behind. Conan turned to him, "Pain, we need to handle Orochimaru, he could be a problem if he intends to try and break off from us. On top of that, we need a teammate for Kakazu as a 10th member." Nagato sighed and replied, "Orochimaru can't do anything on his own. I will handle him should the situation arise. And as long as the Sandaime and Jiraiya are near Naruto, he won't try anything." Conan nodded and added, "What about Madara?" Nagato shrugged, "Madara is no problem, he believes he has me dancing in the palm of his hands. My goals are my own and I will deal with Madara when the time comes." Right now let's just find our new member. If Orochimaru tries to take issues in his own hands, then two members. After their talk, the two figures disappeared out of existence. Konoha, Hyuga compound. Naruto was hanging out with Hinata in the dojo. A lot of things have happened since we met Shikamaru and the others at the park that day. Hinata said. Naruto nodded. We don't really get any time to really hang out like we used to, she said. Naruto spoke up, that's gonna change. The day we graduate the academy, I will be strong enough so that no one would want to challenge me, and we will have all of the time to hang out with each other. Hinata only giggled and replied, Naruto-kun, you know you can't have a life as easy as that. But Naruto-kun, you never talk about what you really want to do when you get older. What are your dreams? Do you want your own clan, become a well-known jounin, and Danbu captain, or how about Hokage? Naruto gulped and said, never I really thought about it. He said with a stutter. Hinata stared at him and had a sly smile. Naruto-kun knows something he's not telling me. She turned around and he began to tickle him. Naruto laughed, trying to stop her until for what seemed like forever, but it was only a minute she stopped. Oi, Hinata-chan, there's only one thing I only want. Hinata smiled and listened. Naruto looked at her, blushing some. I don't know about having my own clan. I will become a well-known jounin through my hard work. Being an Anbu wouldn't be all that fun, and I don't want to be Kage. The thing I want is to spend my life with Hinata-chan. Hinata stared at him and was calm and happy, but deep down she was jumping off the walls happy. She pecked him on his cheek with a kiss and said, I like that dream, Naruto-kun. Naruto smiled and lay down to sleep. Hinata watched him fall asleep and she laid on his stomach and fell asleep too. Naruto was sent to his mindscape to talk with his friend, while Hinata felt like she was being pulled into a place she was not familiar with. Naruto's mindscape. Hinata seemed to wake up surrounded by water. She took a quick look around and she saw prison cells with numbers above each one. She began to panic when she heard a deep voice. This way, girl. Hinata turned around to hear the voice but saw nothing. Looking down, she saw a thin red chakra wire going in one direction. She followed it for some time until she came to a giant room with a huge cage in the room. Hinata stared wide-eyed at the cell until she felt a hand on her shoulder. She let out a screech, turn around only to see Naruto. Hinata-chan, how did you get here? Naruto couldn't believe she was in his mind. I'm not sure, Naruto-kun, I just woke up and I'm here. Where is here exactly? Naruto paused for a minute and was about to answer when they heard. I brought her here. At the deep voice, Hinata ran and hid behind Naruto and saw a giant fox staring at them. Why would you do that, Kyuubi-senpai? Naruto asked, setting his hand on Hinata's. I was curious. I want to know about the one who can restrain my chakra. Kyuubi said. Hinata began to stutter. I don't know what why you mean. Kyuubi laughed a little. So what you did in the forest when you were in the forest was nothing? He said, chuckling a little. Naruto spoke to her. Hinata-chan, you don't have to be scared of him. He's a really cool fox. He's a friend. Hinata looked at the fox, stood away from Naruto, bowed to Kyuubi. Nice to meet you, Kyuubi-san. My name is Hinata Hyuga. Kyuubi chuckled again. Oh, I like her. She is just like you, kid. She has good manners as well. Naruto blushed and rubbed the back of his head. Tell me, girl, do you know anything about Michi Hyuga? Hinata shook her head. I see, because in my lifetime before I was sealed, she was able to do the same thing you did to Naruto. She could calm my chakra by touch or by singing a song. Naruto added to this, wasn't there a saying about music soothes the savage beast? Kyuubi nodded slightly, not really wanting to agree. Hinata asked, what does my ancestor have to do with me? Kyuubi replied, maybe you have your ability to calm beasts like myself. Since that is the case, all I ask is that if I lose control to my anger, my chakra spills out and it will affect Naruto. His body won't be used to the surge of energy and it will hurt him. He stared at Naruto, who only looked confused. Should that happen, he will also lose control. Also, he won't be able to tell who is friend or foe. He will destroy and kill every living thing in the area. So all you need to do is the same thing you did in the forest to calm him down and myself. She took this moment to grab Naruto's hand and nodded. Without a second thought would I hesitate to save him. Kyuubi added. I want you to promise me that you will. She walked up closer than Naruto's been to the cage and said, I'll do better. I swear on my life, my ninja way, as well as my position as heiress, that I will save both of you from that fate. Hinata's voice was serious and her eyes were staring at the demon as if looking into his soul. Naruto and Kyuubi were wide-eyed that she showed no fear staring him down. Then Kyuubi laughed as loud as he could. Naruto and Hinata had to cover their ears. I really like you, girl. I have no worries anymore. The boy is in safe hands. He was about to turn to fall asleep when he said, by the way, Naruto, Hinata. Both looked at him. You see that cell over there, the one with the number 1 above it? They turned around and nodded. Naruto, you must never go near that cell until I feel you are ready. Hinata, if you're ever in here, will you make sure not to go near it or allow him to go near it? Understood. Both jumped back and both said, hi. Kyuubi nodded and told them, good, now you both can do whatever in here until you wake up. Good night. He turned and fell asleep. Hinata grabbed Naruto's hand and said, let's get through your mind some. Naruto protested, no, you just want to see where my hopes and dreams are, don't you? Hinata made a sly grin and began to run off. Naruto yelled, wait, Hinata-chan, please don't go poking around in my head. They both ran past the cell 1 door, not wanting to make eye contact with it. They ran down until they turned away from Kyuubi's hall. The figure from the cell 1 was again shown in silhouette form. But you could distinctly make out a smile. Short explanation from the first year to final year. Naruto and Hinata woke up from his mind. Hinata got to see things that Naruto seen from when they were young or when she wasn't around. Naruto felt he was taken advantage of. Neither of them told anyone what happened that night. Kyuubi also got something that when they were all 9 years old he got his dog partner Akamaru, who had cream-colored fur with black spots on his ears. Shino got his bugs from his father. The Inoshikacho trio learned their family's abilities, with Ino also studying to become an interrogator like her father, and Sakura learned a few jinjutsus from her father, who was a jinjutsu specialist, and some medical jutsu from her mother, who was a nurse at Konoha's hospital. Sasuke never got over his defeat against Naruto, as well as being considered second best among the ninja and students who liked Naruto. This only fueled his hatred for him even more. Over the years at the academy, the Rookie 9 became stronger, faster, smarter, and better. The 4 years were over. They would soon take their tests to officially make them ninjas. The year before, Neji graduated and was put on a squad, his teammates being Rock Lee, Tintin, and their sensei Minato. Neji was announced Rookie of the Year before graduating from the academy. Naruto training was harsh, being trained in secret by Kyuubi and trying to better control his chakra to a higher degree, trained by both Jiraiya, ninjutsu, and Hayashi, taijutsu, and he started his own training sessions with Lee and Gai, and he refused to wear the green jumpsuit. He was slowly becoming a taijutsu master, but this didn't stop him from learning ninjutsu and dispelling jinjutsu, since he can't do any kind of jinjutsu. Hinata's Juken style was flawless and dangerous even to Naruto and Neji if she hit all the right spots. Hinata also learned some medical jutsu from her mother and Shizune. Ino took the stage at trying for Naruto's attention after he defeated Sasuke. Hinata saw this as a threat and the two would fight constantly for his attention. Ino and Hinata saw each other as rivals for Naruto's love and rivals in combat. The two were considered the strongest amongst the girls in the school. Hanabi was 7 years old now and was inspired to become strong like her sister. She got to train along with her sister, Naruto, and ninja which she was finally looking forward to and couldn't wait for the chance to join the academy and become as strong as her sister, as brave like Naruto, and as skilled as ninja. The time was coming ever closer for the rookie 9 to drop being students to becoming ninjas. Dawn broke as light spread across the ninja village Konoha. Light broke through the curtains of a certain blonde ninja. Get up, you're gonna graduate today and you need to wake up. Naruto slowly got up from his bed and rubbed his eyes, and thought to himself, alright Kibai-senpai, I'm up. He decided to open his curtains more to let light inside. He turned and looked at his room. He had many lifting weights on the ground, a pair of gloves hanging on the wall, pictures with his family on the walls or his desk, his ninja outfit hanging. On his door, some training equipment, a bookshelf with ninja tactics, strategies, jutsu, and novels for light reading. Naruto went to his bathroom to brush his teeth, took a shower, and straightened himself out. Leaving his bathroom, he put on his outfit, which was long black shorts that pass his knees, basketball shorts, but not called that, with a thick orange line going down the sides of the shorts, black sandals, a black shirt with the words Hyuga written on the sleeve of his left arm and Uzumaki written on his right arm in orange writing. Naruto's blonde hair is a little longer in the back, which he kept well trained. He was a tad bit more tan than he was when he was younger. Naruto turned to grab some bandages that he wraps around his hands and half of his forearms. He grabbed his fingerless gloves that were hanging on his wall. On the knuckles of the gloves were metal studs. After getting completely dressed, his partner said, "Oi, after today let's get some ramen. We haven't had some in a while since you promised Hannah that we would lay off the stuff for a couple weeks to eat healthy before the test." "Alright, I've been craving that as well." He was about to walk at the door when someone else barged in. To Naruto's smile, it was Hinata. "Good morning, Naruto-kun." Hinata was wearing her tan jacket with fur lining with the Hyuga symbol on the arm of the jacket. Black tight shorts, bike shorts, blue sandals, and a black mesh shirt underneath her jacket. Naruto gave her a hug and said, "Good morning, Hina-hime." Hinata giggled and said, "San, Oka-san, Oba-san, Hanabi-imuto, and Nejina-san are waiting for you for breakfast. San sent me to come get you." "Okay, Hina-hime." He closed his door and the two walked to the Hyuga eating area. Greeted by many of the other Hyuga who told the two that they were happy for them, but one Hyuga in particular told the two, "Oh, good morning Hinata-chan, Naruto-kun." Naruto greeted her and Hinata said, "Good morning to you too, Aoi-chan. How is your day?" "It's going. I have to leave later today to go meet up with a friend," Aoi said, hiding her blush from the children. Naruto caught this and asked, "Oh, and who would this friend be?" Hinata began to chuckle. Aoi looked at them smiling. Now Naruto-kun, that would be telling. Anyway, I have to go hand these documents to some of my superiors in the main and branch house. Come back with those, leave Hittite." She passed them up, waving a goodbye to the two. Naruto and Hinata waved back and continued to go meet everyone who were sitting down to eat. Hanabi ran to her sister and hugged her. "Hinata-nichan, you're going to graduate today, right?" Hinata nodded to her. Neji looked at Naruto. "Today will be fun for you, won't it?" Naruto nodded and asked, "Will you be there for my graduation?" Neji unfortunately shook his head. "Sorry Naru, the Hokage is sending my squad on a 5-day mission, so I'm sad to say I won't see it." Kana smiled and said, "Don't worry Naru-kun, myself, Hana-sama, Hanabi-san, and Hayashi-sama will attend yours and Hinata's graduation ceremony." Hayashi smiled and said, "Yes, it will be fun today to hear that you two will graduate and become ninja. You'll make us all proud like Neji-kun here, and..." He paused for a minute, "Hisashi-san." Everyone slumped a little before he spoke again. "Before we eat, let's pray for him and for you two to graduate, shall we?" Everyone nodded, sat down, grabbed each other's hands and said a silent prayer for Hisashi. Naruto and Hinata ate their food and took their leave, feeling more proud than usual. "Naruto-kun, I am kind of nervous. I know we'll pass, but I can't help but feel nervous." Naruto grinned and pecked her cheek with a kiss and told her, "For luck." He smiled and so did she, and they walked holding each other's hand to the academy. Uchiha compound. Sasuke woke to his mother knocking on his door telling him to get ready for breakfast. Sasuke got up and put on his black outfit, the black outfit he wore for the Chunin exams. But he doesn't have the bandage things on his arms. After getting dressed he went downstairs for breakfast, joining his brother, mother, and his father at the dinner table. "So Ichi, I hear you're going to have your first Chunin team this year?" Fugaku asked. Ichi nodded and replied, "Yes, the Hokage is going to give me my students after they pass and I am to meet them tomorrow after their graduation ceremony." Sasuke turned to his brother. "Who do you think you will have on your team?" Ichi looked back at him. "That I don't know, Sasuke. You'll find out tomorrow when the Hokage announces the squads during your class tomorrow." Sasuke had hope in his eyes. "I hope that you're my sensei, bro, so you won't have to waste your time on anyone else at the academy." Fugaku spoke up, "That's if you pass the graduation test to become a Chunin. I'm still disappointed that you've been constantly losing to the Hyuga's pet." Sasuke and his father haven't really been on the same page since Sasuke's defeat to Naruto over and over. Mikoto looked at the time and happily said, "Sasuke-kun, it's time for you to head out now. You don't want to be late on your last day at the academy as a student, do you?" Sasuke looked to his mother, "Okay, I guess I'll be going now." He stood up, "See ya everyone. I swear I will be coming back with my leaf Hittite and make this clan proud." Everyone said bye to Sasuke as he walked out of the house. Walking around the Uchiha clan's compound, all of the Uchihas cheered for him to do his best and make them proud. Once he left the front gate he walked out to see a group of fangirls minus No. The girls began to crowd around him and followed him to class. Sakura was among the crowd, but she thought she was lucky enough to be one of the ones to hold on to his arms. Sasuke acted like he didn't like the attention, but deep down he liked every minute of it. Academy classroom. Naruto and Hinata made his way to where Shikamaru was sleeping and Choji was snacking. Both are wearing their Naruto outfits from when they were Chunin, and so will the rest of the class. Naruto snuck up behind him and yelled, "Shikamaru, your mom is here and she looks pissed." Immediately he shot his head up and jumped up and was cautiously looking around. Naruto, Choji and Hinata were laughing and Shikamaru lightly punched Naruto in the arm and said, "Naruto, that's not funny, don't even joke about something like that. I thought I was going to die there for a minute there." Shikamaru had his hand on his chest in hopes his heart wouldn't pop out of his chest. They were interrupted when they saw Sasuke walk in the class with a crowd of girls circling him and trying to get his attention. Sasuke never walks over to anyone Naruto talks to. Shino followed after Sasuke and walked over to where Naruto and the others are. "Good to see you four this morning." Everyone else waved to him and greeted him. Kiba ran in with his partner sitting on his head, who was still a puppy to everyone else but was a tad bit bigger. He greeted them also. Ino appeared out of nowhere and hugged Naruto from behind. "Good morning, Narikun." Hinata got upset and shouted, "Get off of Narikun, Ino." Ino turned to her rival, "What will you do?" She let go of Naruto and the two were staring each other down. As if by some unknown power, all Naruto did was wave his hand in between the girls' line of sight and the two seemed to calm down. "It's too early, you two, for a fight, don't you think?" Hinata nodded. "You're right, Narikun, I could settle this with Ino any other time." She glared at Ino and grabbed Naruto's right arm. Not trying to get one to be left out, she grabbed Naruto's left arm and smiled, "I'll be good, Naruto-kun." Shikamaru mumbled, "Troublesome." Shino nodded, "Yes, this is troublesome, for Naruto-san." Kiba laughed, "What are you two talking about? You should feel lucky to have more than one girl throwing themselves at you. Right, Akamaru?" Akamaru barked in agreement. Naruto wouldn't say it out loud, but he felt truly lucky to have two girls show him such affection. Remember, he still is a guy. Things slowly settled down as students got into groups to talk until either Ruka or Mizuki came to settle them down. Everyone in class were talking about what the graduation test would be on and who would be the proctors for the test. At that moment a swirl of leaves appeared in the class, which was a sign for everyone to take their seats. Ruka appeared out of those leaves and announced, well, look at all of these kids. Oh, I'm sorry, future ninja of Konoha. Everyone smiled or giggled. As you all know, you will be doing a graduation test today to see if you become ninja. Myself, Mizuki-sensei, and a special guest who is a jounin will also be one of the proctors to help evaluate you. When you meet her, bow and introduce yourself, since me and Mizuki-sensei already know you. Everyone nodded and Kiba spoke up, what's the jounin's name? Ruka looked at his clipboard and said, I've met her before only once, but her name is Kurenai Yui. She is a Genjutsu specialist and is as of last month a new jounin, so she won't have a squad this year. Anyways, let's get down to it. You guys will have 30 minutes to get those jitters, butterflies, or whatever else you all have about the test out of your system. So I will return in 30 minutes and take you all down the hall to room reserved for your test. Good luck to all of you. Then he put his hands together and puffed out of existence. Those who could recognize it said that was a shadow clone and that the real Ruka was never there. Testing room. For the rest of the 30 minutes everyone talked and tried to calm themselves down. After a while Ruka returned and called for everyone to line up one by one. Students were called inside to begin the test. Each one took 2 to 5 minutes each depending on the student. Soon it came down to the first of the rookie 9, Naruto Uzumaki. He turned back to look at his friends. Everyone nodded at him and he grinned and walked through the doors. He entered the room and saw a table where Ruka, Mizuki, and Kurenai were sitting. Kurenai had red eyes with purple eye makeup, black hair, and wearing the traditional jounin outfit. She will have this for now. He bowed to the three and said, hello, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. The teachers bowed their heads slightly. Mizuki took the moment and said, first Naruto, we want you to show us your basics. Then if you have anything special you've been working on you can show us, which could help you even further. Naruto nodded. Kurenai instructed, we want to see how good your henge is, so transform into the third Hokage. Can you do that for us? Naruto nodded again, brought his hands together to perform the seal and said, henge. A puff of smoke appeared around him and he transformed into an perfect image of the third. Ruka told him to turn around so they could have a better look. Naruto turned around slowly. As far as the three ninjas were concerned, he aced it, since it was detailed very well, just like a few students before him. He dispelled the henge and Ruka spoke to him, now we want to see how your bunshin is. Create for us 2 successful bunshins. Naruto hesitated and raised his hand, sensei? They looked up to him and he told them, I can't do bunshins. The teachers looked at each other and Kurenai told him, you know this will hurt your score since you can't do a basic like bunshin. Naruto nodded and replied, yes, well me and my Jisenjirya can't find out the reason why I can't do bunshins. So he taught me something else. The teachers eyed him and he continued, he taught me how to do cage bunshins. The teachers took a minute before Mizuki spoke, Naruto, that technique is not possible for a student. Naruto made eye contact with him and said, I really can do it. Please let me show you. Kurenai looked at him wondering if he really could. Okay Naruto. Naruto broke his eye contact with Mizuki and looked at Kurenai, if you really could do it then it will greatly help you, but they have to be perfect cage bunshins. Naruto nodded and did the seal for the cage bunshins. In a puff of smoke around him, not 2, not 5, not 7, but 9 figures were standing side by side Naruto. The teachers went wide-eyed and saw 10 Narutos standing in front of them. Ruka was stunned, Mizuki couldn't speak, and Kurenai was surprised. Naruto broke the silence when he asked, so, did I do good? Wiping the looks off their faces, Ruka said, you did great Naruto, I'm proud of you. Mizuki and Kurenai nodded in agreement as the clones disappeared. Mizuki said, okay, Naruto, you may take your leave now. Mizuki finished. Naruto looked at the 3, Don't you want me to show you something else that could help me pass? The three said okay, and Naruto breathed in and out. He held out his right arm and then chakra shot out his arm. Surrounding his arm was blue chakra that was visible. Kurenai thought to herself in amazement, this boy can unleash large amounts of chakra at his palm. Not even Jounin level ninja can unleash that much chakra from their bodies. I don't even think the Hyugas could do something like this on this kind of scale. Ruka only thought, this is amazing. Mizuki also thought, with chakra this huge he could create a shield around himself as a protection from certain attacks. Naruto's chakra that was emerging from his right arm slowly disappeared back into his body. He opened his eyes and saw that his teachers were just staring at him in disbelief. Mizuki stood up, looked him in the eyes. You did excellent, Naruto. You can take your leave and call in the next student. Naruto did a formal bow and left the room. The three teachers were adding up his score, still unable to shake off what they just seen. Naruto left the room, looked at everyone who seemed to look at him with anticipation. I did okay, I guess. He looked at Hinata and said, your turn, Hinata. She nodded and passed him, and before she walked in he leaned to her and said, knock him dead, Heim. She looked at him and entered the room. She heard the door behind her close and she was alone with the two Chunin and one Jonin. She walked to the center, bowed and told them her name, and the teachers bowed back and told her to perform the hench and bunshin techniques. Once she was done she noticed that they were impressed. Kurenai looked at her, will you be showing us your Byakugan to us, Hinata-chan? Hinata nodded and whispered to have it activated and performed her Juken style. Kurenai was impressed by her technique and flawless strikes. Once she stopped, the teachers clapped and Ruka asked, anything else you want to show us? Hinata nodded again and bit her finger to let blood show, then she began doing a series of hand signs and slammed her hand on the ground and yelled, summoning jutsu. Suddenly, in a puff of smoke, a medium-sized eagle appeared in front of them and then flew on Hinata's shoulder and looked around. What is it you wish for me to do, Hinata-san? The teachers took a minute before Mizuki asked, so Hinata-chan, you're able to summon creatures? Hinata nodded, yes, her name is Toritsu, she can be useful in the field to send messages back between whoever team I will be on in case of emergencies. Toritsu looked at the teachers and added, and since I'm a special summons I will grow to the size of a caravan, so my skills in combat will improve as I grow, as will my chakra. The three looked at each other. Kurenai looked at her, this will be a special case since this is a valuable asset to your squad in case you do run into trouble. Okay, Hinata-chan, you did excellent in this test, and like the rest you will find out later today if you graduate and whose squad you will be on tomorrow. You may now take your leave, she said with a smile. Hinata bowed and so did Toritsu. Afterwards Toritsu disappeared back to her room and Hinata left the room and saw her friends and told them, they said I did excellent. Everyone cheered for a minute and Hinata called Shikamaru to go in. Shikamaru passed the evaluation with the most laziest amount of effort, but amazed them with his analyzing skills and performed his shadow possession jutsu. Ino went the next, she passed as well and performed her mind-body switch on Mizuki, didn't want to but agreed to in the end. Choji appeared next and passed his test barely and performed his multi-size technique. Shino was next after. With no problem and no emotion passed his evaluation, and grossed the teachers out with his parasitic insects. Kiba barged in as Shino was leaving, like Choji he barely passed. Him and Akamaru performed by showing their beast mimicry. He walked on like he was on top of the world. Sasuke went next, and performed perfectly. He showed off two fire jutsu techniques that had to be done with Mizuki on guard with his water jutsu ready. Sasuke performed his dragon fire jutsu and his new one mini fireball jutsu. He shoots 5 fireballs the size of baseballs. Less power but fast. Sakura went last and passed her test as good as Ino. She asked that Kurenai be the one so she could demonstrate her genjutsu on, since she was a genjutsu specialist. After they went and every one of the other students went and everyone went back to their classroom and waited for their proctors to return. Classroom. Then Kurenai, Mizuki, and Ruka appeared with the table from the room with a sheet on it. Everyone returned to their seats and waited. Kurenai stepped up and said, "First off, you all did great. As you can see behind me, we brought with us a table and I'm pretty sure you guys can guess what these are." Ruka pulled the sheet off the table and there on the table were leaf Hittites. Kurenai spoke up, "I will call your names and you will come up and accept your headbands, and from this moment on you will be ninjas." She held up her clipboard and said, "I will start from the lowest score and work my way up to who impressed us the most during the test." She called all from the students at the bottom. Each student accepted their headbands from either Ruka or Mizuki since the two switched off, until she got to the 9 rookies. Number 9 is Shikamaru Nara. Shikamaru stood up and lazily walked to the table where Ruka and Mizuki were standing. Mizuki handed him his headband and Shikamaru tied it to his left arm. Number 8 is Choji Akimuki. Choji happily walked to the table and grabbed his headband from Ruka and put it on his head. Number 7 is Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba was jumping and yelling that he passed, ran to the table and walked to Mizuki and grabbed it and tied it to his head. Number 6 is Sakura Haruno. Sakura had a smile on her face and grabbed her headband from Ruka and tied it on top of her hair to hold back her pink hair. Number 5 is Ino Yamanaka. Ino made a squeal, gave Naruto a hug, and walked to Mizuki and took her headband from him and tied it around her waist. Number 4 is Hinata Hyuga. Hinata was happy that she beat Ino and she heard Naruto cheer for her. Walking to Ruka, who nodded and handed her headband to her, she tied it around her neck, bowed and walked away. Number 3 is Shino Aburame. Shino said nothing, walked to Mizuki and accepted his headband politely and tied it around his head. Then slowly walked away. Number 2 is Sasuke Kaya. Sasuke was stunned that he wasn't number 1, he was pissed but he didn't show it. He had one thought in his mind, it was him, he became number 1, didn't he? Upset, he walked over and accepted his headband from Ruka, tied it to his head and walked away disappointed. With only one student left, she announced, "As you all can see, since there is only one student and one headband left and with the number 1 spot left open, you can all guess that." Number 1 is Naruto Uzumaki. The rookie 9 applauded him and Naruto threw his hands in the air and said, "I finally did it." He walked to the front and saw that Kurenai grabbed the last headband and handed it to him. "You did great. The village should be proud to have you as a ninja, but that's not all." Kurenai turned around and pulled out a small plaque that read Rookie of the Year with his name spelled out underneath it. She looked at the stunned boy. "You also became Rookie of the Year, this is a something special." Naruto was speechless. He grabbed his headband and wrapped it around his head and grabbed his plaque and couldn't wait to show it off to everyone at the compound. Ruka announced, "All of you passed this year. Not one student in this class failed. You should all feel proud of yourselves. And I'm proud to call you all comrades," he said happily. Mizuki added, "Now I'm sure you all want to run out of here screaming across the village, I know because my class did it too. But when you all become a higher rank, I will be happy to fight alongside you on any of the missions." Some of the students were teary-eyed and began to take their leave of the class. Naruto was walking with Hinata holding her hand and he heard, "Goodbye, you did great, kid. Thanks, senpai. That means a lot coming from you." He looked at Hinata and told her, "Well, we became Ninja Hinaheim." She looked at him and smiled. Ino was standing to his other side and he told her, "You did great, Ino-chan." Ino blushed and the two girls grabbed his arms again. Both girls said, "I just hope we are on the same squad, Narikun." They walked in the crowd and walked out the door to see a crowd of adults waiting for them all. Naruto saw his family and they were all smiling at Hinata and him waiting for the duo. He thought to himself, "I wonder if my real parents would be proud of me for graduating." Kubai heard that thought and said, "I'm sure they would be very proud of you, Kit." "Yeah. I guess." Was the all he thought about. Hayashi watched them approach and he glanced at them, seeing Naruto and Hinata with their leaf Hittites on. He was so proud of them. Naruto started showing off his headband and his plaque to everyone, saying that he was the new Rookie of the Year. Hayashi began praising the boy even further. Naruto couldn't help but blush because of it. Hana told them that the cooks at the compound made a special feast for them. Before starting their walk, their path was blocked by a black-haired man. Hayashi looked at the man with great distrust. "Hello there, Ichi, long time no see." Ichi smiled back. "Yes, it has been a long time, hasn't it, Hayashi-sama?" Hayashi looked at the smiling man. "Something I could help you with, Ichi?" Ichi walked closer to the man and whispered, "What? A sensei can't come to congratulate his student?" Hayashi was distrustful of not just Ichi but all ukas. "Until tomorrow he's not your student. Now if you would excuse us, me and my family are going home to celebrate Hinata and Naruto's graduation." Ichi bowed. "Of course, Hayashi-sama, sorry to keep you." Ichi was smiling still, which only irritated Hayashi more. Hayashi waved his hands to his family and they started walking past him. Hana and Hanabi were walking next to each other. Kana, Hinata and Naruto were following those two. Ichi made direct eye contact with Naruto and mouthed the words, "See you soon, Naruto-kun." After those three passed him, he paid extra attention to the Hyuga following the rear. He stared at her and whispered, "I'll deal with you later tonight, Aoi-hime." He grinned at her and she blushed and stopped next to him and told him in a seductive voice, "I'm sure you will, in fact I'm counting on it." Hayashi turned around and called out, "Aoi, let's go." She turned away from Ichi and continued, "What did you say to him, Aoi-chan?" Kana asked her once she caught up. Aoi put up a smile and said, "I told him had he tried anything on Hayashi-sama, he would find himself face first in the ground." Kana had a hard time believing that but chose not to say anything about it. Ichi turned away and headed to where his family was and walked over to Sasuke. "Congratulations, Sasuke-kun, on graduating." Sasuke was proud that he got praise from his brother. Mikoto hugged Sasuke. "Yes, my Sasuke-kun graduated, I'm so happy. Now both of my boys are ninjas." Sasuke was embarrassed that his mother was making a scene. Fugaku put his hand on Sasuke's head and said, "You truly are my son." Sasuke was at a loss of words that he got praise from his father. With that said, Sasuke, the entire Uchiha clan will go to the main hall to have a grand feast for all of the Uchiha kids who graduated today later tonight. Sasuke nodded with happiness, but that all disappeared when Ichi spoke up, "Sorry, I won't be able to make it to the party." Fugaku glared at his oldest son. "What do you mean you won't be able to make it? This is a special day for the Uchiha clan." Ichi showed no emotion. Again, "Sorry, but I have a mission later and I'm not sure how long it will take." Fugaku continued his glare at his son. "What mission does the Hokage have for you that can't wait until tomorrow?" Ichi said plainly, "I'm to meet with Aoi Hyuga later for a mission around the village for guard duty." Fugaku upon hearing this demanded, "You don't need a Hyuga to do that. Tell the Hyuga witch you could do this on your own. If she objects, then make her submit to you." Ichi frowned at what he called his women but then laughed inwardly, "If only he knew how bad I can make her submit to me." Images of himself and Aoi at hotel room flashed through his mind and how his ears ring when she screams his name. "I don't intend to do that. With her the mission will go that much more quicker, smoother, and quieter." At the comment he just said he laughed. "Yeah, right." Fugaku sighed, "Fine, but come back to the party as soon as you can." Ichi only nodded and walked over to Sasuke and said, "Sorry Sasuke, but this is a ninja's life. You will be doing things like this from now on." Sasuke kind of brightened up at hearing that. "It's alright, Ichi. It is true, this is our life." Ichi patted Sasuke's head and walked away. Hyuga compound. Many of the Hyugas attended the feast to congratulate their hero Naruto and their heiress Hinata on becoming ninja. Over the course of the 4 years, Hayashi was winning in his debate on merging the branch and main families together and to finally rid the caged bird seal from their home once and for all, something his brother always wanted. It was only a matter of time. Naruto surprised Hayashi when he suggested telling the caged bird seal to the Hokage so that it could be placed on prisoners in case of riots or use it as punishment or interrogation. But they had to wait it off until they came to an agreement. Jiraiya was at the party, Tsunade showed up, Shizune also came by, and so did Kakashi. Sorry, I'm introducing him late in the story. Kakashi could only see Naruto on rare occasions since he was Anbu captain, but was asked by the Hokage to become a Jounin sensei this year. He was one of the Anbu who would watch and protect him from a distance in case if someone tried anything on him. This was an upside for him since that would mean he could see Naruto and protect him. That was until the Hokage made the law stating anyone who attacked Naruto was killed on sight. Kakashi happily approached and said, "Hey there Naru." Naruto was happy he could show up for his graduation party. Kakashi-nichan. "I happy you could make it to my party." "You kidding, I wouldn't miss the chance to see you become a ninja." The two were one in the same. They had a deep commitment to family, their duty as ninja, the will to protect and fight for those precious to them, and they would die for one another. Hana was watching the party and was greeting all of the branch members of the family. Kana was making sure everything went by perfectly. Hanabi was with her sister asking to try on her headband, and Hayashi was talking with the two Sannin. Jiraiya snuck away and was able to get a hold of Naruto and pulled him away from the crowd to talk to him. "Hey Naruto, I'm really proud that you became a ninja." Naruto couldn't help but smirk. "I wanted you to know that if I compare you to two of my former students your age, you'd be the strongest, but don't get ahead of yourself, you would only be slightly stronger than the two." Naruto and everyone else in the village knew that he trained the fourth Hokage, but to be told that he was stronger than the fourth Hokage when he was 12. "Jisan, I'm only strong because I have you and Hayashi-sama there to train me." Naruto paused and wanted to ask, even though he knew it could be a long shot, "Jisan?" Jiraiya looked at him and was listening. "Do you know who my Kasen and Sen are?" Naruto asked, hoping to get an answer. Jiraiya was a bit shocked that Naruto asked him since he didn't want to tell him the truth yet. "Well, yeah, I did know your parents." Naruto's eyes gleamed, hoping to finally find out something about them. "Your parents? Well, they were very strong and talented ninja. If they were alive right now, you would be showered with love and gifts even if it wasn't your birthday." Jiraiya told him the truth but not about who they were. Naruto asked, "What were their names?" Jiraiya made an animated surprised look that he forgot to come up with names. "Well, you see, but by some miracle he was saved by Kakashi." "Naruto, your mother's name was Sylvie Uzumaki and your father's name was Gyo Uzumaki. I had the honor of tagging along with them on missions from time to time." Naruto's attention was on Kakashi and didn't see Jiraiya mouth the words to Kakashi, "Thank you." Naruto wanted to ask another question but he was caught in a conversation with Kibai. "Hey Kit, leave the talk about your parents here." Naruto held up his hand to Jiraiya and Kakashi. Both men knew about his conversations with Kibai. "What do you mean?" Kibai told him, "Trust me, you will have everything come into the light very soon." Naruto trusted him and Kibai cut the link with each other. Naruto was disappointed that he couldn't learn more from the two. "Well, Jisan, thank you for telling me something about them." Hinata ran over to where he was and hugged him from behind. "Narikun, everyone wants to congratulate us, come on over here." Naruto nodded and followed her to a crowd of people some ways off. Kakashi looked at Jiraiya. "You know that now we told him, we will have to tell everyone who knows the truth, in case he decides to ask anyone else." Jiraiya sadly nodded, "Yeah, he has to wait just a little while longer to know the truth about his roots." Right after finishing his sentence he felt a surge of chakra hit his body and thought, "He's here." Naruto, who was not too far away and felt the same feeling, Kibai linked with him again. "Naruto, someone else is here, who shouldn't be." Before he could answer he felt a hand touch his shoulder. He turned around to see a tall man with spiky dark orange hair with 3 bridge piercings on his nose, 2 lower lip piercings and a number of piercings in his ears. The man had some glasses on and was wearing a Konoha jounin outfit. Jiraiya saw the man and thought, looks like he infiltrated the village successfully. What do you want here, Pain? Pain looked at a confused Naruto and said, congratulations on graduating, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto was for some reason shocked and doesn't know why. Thank you, but who are you? Do I even know you? Forgive me, my name is Yahiko. To answer your question, no, we don't know each other, but Jiraiya-sama speaks about you so much I feel like I do know you. Jiraiya walked over to where Pain and Naruto were. Hey there, Naruto, I see you met Yahiko here. Naruto was still staring at the tall man and asked Jiraiya, who is he? Well, Naruto, he is one of my former pupils. Hey, before I continue, would you mind getting me something to drink? Jiraiya hoped Naruto would say yes, and thankfully he did. Naruto turned and walked away without saying a word. Jiraiya turned and made a serious expression. Are you trying to jeopardize everything? Pain giggled some. Sorry, Jiraiya-sama, I just can't seem to want to wait an extra year to meet him. So I took the initiative and came here in this guise. No one aside from you knows who I really am. That doesn't matter, you could be risking everything we worked for. Go back to AIM and I will meet you there in 2 days. Jiraiya was stressing that Pain would be found out. Okay, Jiraiya-sama, but before I go, could I give Naruto a graduation present? Jiraiya was about to say something, but he turned around to see Naruto holding 2 drinks in his hand. Here you go, Ji-san. Jiraiya grabbed the drink from his hand. Naruto turned to Pain and asked, want some? Pain shook his head, no thank you, Naruto-san. Well, I would like to stay and chat with you some, but I'm afraid that I must take my leave now. Pain pulled from his side what looked to be a slim black cylinder at least 14 inches long and handed it to Naruto. Here, this is a graduation gift. It's a chakra blade, it responds to one's element and brings it out. Naruto looked at the rod and thought that it didn't look all that interesting. Pain took it back and swung it once, and the rod extended with had a sharp point at the end of it. Think about hidden second weapon he had fighting Asuma. It's stronger than any sword you may wield, it's lighter, sharper, and more effective. Naruto was awestruck. Pain pressed a button at the bottom of the weapon to retract it. Thank you, Yahiko-san. Naruto was overjoyed to have his own weapon. Pain turned to walk away. Oh, I'll be seeing you very soon, Naruto-san. Until then, get stronger. Naruto was confused at first and yelled at the man walking away, thanks again for the gift. Pain only waved and proceeded to walk away somehow without notice. The same thought came in his mind, who was he? What did he want? Will we meet again, really? He shook it all off and decided to enjoy the rest of the party and was looking forward to tomorrow. The rest of the day the party went great. Almost all of Konoha was celebrating their kids' graduation well into the middle of the night. The Yamanaka, Okimaki, and Nar clan were celebrating together at the Okimaki compound since they had the most food and since the area was a lot larger, so it'd be more suited for their clan. The Ibrahim clan had a silent get-together, no one knew if they were home or not. The Inuzuka clan, being the loudest as usual, were howling at the top of their lungs, as well as their animal partners howling and barking into the night with a huge bonfire outside in the middle of their training area. The Akaya clan were somewhat like the Ibrahim clan, you couldn't hear a thing. Sakura's family went to the Okimaki compound to celebrate and have fun also. The Hokage was looking out at the village and was happy to hear the village in a state of joy. He turned around back into his home and began to think, well, the teams are set, the senseis are chosen, and the missions are ready. Things are going smoothly. Tomorrow will be a good day. On the outskirts of Konoha, Pain and Konan were waiting patiently for the body of her dead friend to arrive on top of a cliff. From the trees jumped a figure next to them. Pain spoke up, Naruto. I finally met him, there is an aura coming off of him. He was staring at the corpse of his friend Yahiko. The corpse of Yahiko removed his glasses to show the Rinnegan walking closer to Pain and stopping within arm's reach of him. Konan said, Nagato-kun, we must go now. If they find us here, it will be bad. Pain looked at her, then back to his dead friend. He performed a series of hand signs and then placed his hand on its chest and said, "Reverse summons jutsu." In a puff of smoke the body disappeared. Pain turned to Conan and told her, "We are moving out now." He started to walk away and she followed. "Where are we going to next, Nagato-kun?" He paused for a moment and turned to her. "We are going to Yugakure. There is a ninja there who's going to be Kakazu's new partner." Conan asked, "What abilities does he have that could be useful to us?" Pain started walking again. "He believes in something called Jashin. But his abilities make him a perfect partner for Kakazu." Conan said nothing but still listened. "He claims to be immortal." Conan sighed. "It seems we have a fifth person who thinks they are mortal. Kakazu, Madara, or Rakamaru, say Saori, and now this. What's his name?" Pain answered, "Hidden." The two kept walking until Konoha was out of sight entirely. The next day some of the adults were in dread as they were trying to cure hangovers from the parties or having to clean up a massive mess. It was around 7 o'clock in the morning and the fresh Genins were heading out to the academy one last time to find out who was on their squads. They were using the large auditoriums that they use for this occasion or in case of emergency villager meetings. Genin were coming either alone or with their families. Neji sent his summons Tortama to deliver a message to Hayashi saying he would return in 2 days, much to Naruto and Hinata's disappointment. Naruto and Hinata came walking with Hayashi and Hanabi as well as 5 bodyguards. Naruto and Hinata were surprised that Hana and Kana drank so much, even to Hayashi's great surprise as well that his wife could handle that much alcohol. Behind them was Kiba, Akamaru, his sister Hana, and his mother Tsume, who was nursing a massive hangover. Inoue and her father Inoichi came next, with Inoichi laughing at Shikaku, who was being carried somewhat by his wife. Shikamaru was lagging behind the group, shaking his head at his father. Shibi and his son Shino were coming out next. Shibi surprisingly smirked at his hungover friend Shikaku. Choza and Choji followed after the Abarames and couldn't help but break out in laughter as well. Sakura and her mother showed up and walked over to Inoichi. Sakura was looking for Inoue and spotted her in a heated argument with Hinata about Naruto again. Sakura felt like she was the middle girl who always had to stop the cat fights between the two. The final group to show up was of course some Uchiha kids and their parents. Among them were Fugaku, Mikoto, and Sasuke. Ichi never came home or came to the party they had for the graduation. Fugaku walked over to Hayashi trying to get some answers. "Hello there, Hayashi-san." Hayashi hoped this day could go on without complications, but he knew that was only wishful thinking. "What can I help you with today, Fugaku-san?" Fugaku crossed his arms and asked, "Have you seen my son Ichi anywhere by chance?" Hayashi shook his head and answered, "Why would I know where your son is?" Fugaku and Hayashi seemed to be in a stare-off. "Well, he had a guard duty mission last night and he said that his partner for the night was one of your cousins, Aoi Hyuga." Hayashi's eyes widened some and he thought, "I don't remember giving her any mission assignment last night. If she had a mission from the cage I would know about it first." Deciding to play it cool, he answered, "She's at home resting." Fugaku knew he was lying but said nothing of it. "Well, I guess we are done here then." He bowed and walked away back to where his clan were waiting for him. Hayashi ignored what just happened. Hayashi looked over and saw Naruto and Hanabi watching the argument between Hinata and Inoue. Inoichi walked next to Hayashi. "Young love, huh?" Hayashi did a low laugh and said, "Yeah, to be young again." Inoichi smiled and said, "Yup. Glad that's over." Naruto and Hanabi continued watching the argument between the Hinata and Inoue. "Naruto-nichan. Does this happen a lot?" Naruto nodded and said, "Yep, this is just a normal day." Everything came to a halt when the Hokage came with his Anbu escorts. He was walking through the crowd receiving bows and praise. Before he entered he yelled out, "Everyone take your seats inside, all new graduates take your seats in the front rows. All parents, guardians, or friends fill the back rows first." He entered the auditorium followed by the crowd. The Genins filled the front rows as instructed and the families filled the back rows. After everyone was seated, they all noticed a group of Jounins appear from the back of the stage and stood behind the Hokage. Among them was Ichi in a Jounin attire. In a thundering voice the Hokage spoke, "I'm very proud of all of you today. You are no longer kids, you are ninja now. This is a special day, a day in which you will be put in a 3-man squad with a Jounin sensei. This only means you are moving to the next level." His assistant for today who appeared from the back as well was Tsunade. She walked over to him and handed him the paperwork. "In my hands are your names, the names of you teammates, and the name of you sensei. We will start with Squad 1. He yelled out random names of students, and when they were called to the stage they were to meet their sensei and leave the auditorium to either begin training or talk to better familiarize themselves with their squad. When he got to Team 7 he yelled out, "Team 7 is Sakura Haruno, Kiba and Yuzuka, and Sasuke Kaya." All of Sasuke's fangirls pouted and Sakura showed restraint, but her inner Sakura was yelling, "I won." The three walked to the stage and he announced, "Your sensei will be." Sasuke made eye contact with Ichi hoping it was him. "Kakashi Hatake." Fugaku was shocked, Sasuke was wide-eyed, and Kakashi said, "Damn." Kakashi walked out from the rest of the Jounin and walked to the three. "Well, looks like you're on my squad. Meet me on top of the academy roof ASAP." The three nodded and left the room. Kakashi put his hands together and used the Shunshin technique to leave. Sasuke passed Ichi and stared at him, wondering why he wasn't his sensei. Skipping squads 8-9, Sarutobi began again. Team 10 is Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akimuki, and Ino Yamanaka. Ino pouted at this since she wasn't on Naruto's squad. Naruto patted her back and said, "Don't worry, it doesn't mean we still can't hang out." He grinned at her and she felt somewhat better. Shikamaru got up and dragged his feet while Choji happily got up and met his team on the stage. "Your sensei will be Asuma Sarutobi." The thought that went through everyone's mind was his son. Asuma stepped out and greeted them, "Well, how about we meet at Training Ground 21? The three nodded and followed him out of the auditorium. Skipping from squads 9-12, Sarutobi spoke, "Team 13 will have Shinoa Burame, Hinata Hyuga, and..." Hinata's heart was racing. There were still many other students among them and she prayed to her uncle Hisashi that Naruto would be with her. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto grabbed Hinata's hand and said, "Looks like we're together again." He was grinning widely that he had his Hinata with him. Shino stood up and quietly walked to the stage. Naruto and Hinata were right behind him. From the audience Hayashi just pulled his hands away from each other and said, "I haven't prayed that hard since Hinata and Hanabi's births." He was breathing a sigh of relief. Hanabi sat there looking at her father with a confused look. The three stood before Sarutobi and he looked happy. "Your sensei will be Ichi Akaya." Everyone who was left to watch were absolutely shocked. The Demon Kid, the Hyuga heiress, and the Bug Boy had the one of the Akaya clan's elite as their sensei? Fugaku was beyond pissed. Ichi looked at his students and said, "I want you three to meet me on top of the Hokage monument as soon as you can." Ichi put his hands together to activate his Shunshin. Naruto, Hinata, and Shino watched as he disappeared and took their leave as well. Sarutobi watched as they left and looked into the stands. He saw Hayashi and Hanabi take their leave. They had no other reason to stay. He looked over and saw Fugaku had a pissed off look on his face. "Great, he's going to raise hell about this when I get back into my office." Fugaku and Mikoto stayed to watch the rest of the Akaya kids get put into squads and meet their senseis. The rest of the squad ceremony went off perfectly and everyone left one by one. Sarutobi took the back way out. He wanted to avoid Fugaku at all cost. Top of the Hokage monument above the massive mountain was a lookout spot where people could come to look through a scope to see the whole village. Ichi was standing by the railing looking out at the village. Naruto, Hinata, and Shino walked to the area he was waiting at and the three took a seat at a bench nearby him. Ichi turned around and looked at his students before him. Ichi spoke up, "First off, let's get to know one another. I want to know what your likes are, your dislikes, also what your goals and dreams are." Shino decided to ask, "Sensei, could you give us an example?" Ichi nodded. "My name of course is Ichi Akaya. I like my family and comrades. I dislike traitors or people with a superiority complex. My goal is to help my clan with that complex. My dream is to have a family of my own and train a ninja that everyone will know." He paused for a moment, then looked at his students, then pointed at Shino. "Why don't you go next, Shino-kun?" Shino stood up. "My name is Shino Abrame. I like collecting and researching different bugs as well as my close friends. I dislike people who jump to conclusions about them, people included. My goal is to become clan leader, and my dream is to discover as many bugs as humanly possible and to help a certain person to the top." Shino sat back down and they waited till Ichi pointed to Hinata. "Your turn, Missy." Hinata stood up also. "My name is Hinata Hyuga. I love my family and my friends, especially Narikun." She looked at him and blushed. "I dislike people who try to hurt my precious people. My goal is to become a well-known herbalist, and my dream is to bring the branch family together with the main family in my home and to rid every branch member with the caged bird seal." Ichi smiled at her dream. Finally he looked at Naruto and said, "Looks like you're the only one left." Naruto stood up. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like my friends and especially my family and my Hinaheim." Hinata blushed a deeper red. "I dislike people who judge others without getting to know them first." He looked over at Shino and remembered what happened a while back. "My goal is to become very strong so I could protect everyone, and my dream is to live my life how I want to live my life. I will be the one to break everyone's belief that their lives are preordained. You are in control and no one else." Ichi looked at him. "Naruto-kun, those are all the qualifications of a Hokage, you know. If I weren't mistaken I would have thought that your dream would become Hokage." Naruto was looking at him as well. "If I do become Hokage, I want it to be known that I worked for it and not that Kami destined me for it." Naruto giggled some. Ichi smiled and was happy he got Hinata and Shino as well. Those two fight for something more than themselves. I can't say the same for my clansmen. After Naruto's little speech those two seemed to have brightened up even more. Ichi closed his eyes and said, "It's getting late." The ceremony took longer than expected. He opened his eyes and looked at them. "Meet me at Training Ground 13 tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Eat a good dinner, get a good sleep and have a small breakfast. I will tell you what your test will be tomorrow." Hinata spoke up. "Ichi-sensei, do we need to bring anything?" Ichi said, "Bring as many weapons necessary, the test will help me see where you need improvement. With that said you three can leave now." Naruto, Hinata and Shino began to walk away. As they were walking Naruto asked the two, "Hey, let's go get some ramen, I'm starving." Hinata answered, "Ramen does sound good about now, what do you say, Shino?" Shino replied, "I don't have a taste for ramen, but there is a first for everything." Naruto raised his hands and said, "Well, on to Karaku Ramen." The trio started walking to the Akaraku Ramen bar, much to Naruto and Kyubai's joy. Ichi watched them walk away and continued to watch the sunset on top the monument. He then felt a heavy weight on him as if someone was watching him. He looked at a group of trees behind him and focused on one spot. Ichi spoke out, "You can come out now." A figure appeared out of some of the trees in the area. "My father sent you, didn't he?" The ninja had bamboo armor but on the mask was the Uchiha crest. "Lord Fugaku wants you to meet with him now." Ichi turned around to look at his fellow Uchiha and followed him back to his home. He thought to himself, "This is going to take a long time. Sorry Aoiheim, looks like we won't spend tonight together." The two later disappeared using Shunshin. Naruto's room. Naruto's alarm went off and he rolled on his bed and slammed his fist on it to turn it off and looked at the time. It was 4:30 in the morning. He sighed, got up to take a shower and get ready for the day. While in his shower he searched his mind to see that not even his friend was awake at this time. He silently mumbled to himself, "This is an unholy hour to wake up." Leaving the shower he brushed his teeth and then got dressed. He looked over on a desk that was in his room that had a few books on it and picked up his holsters that had his kunais and shurikens. He wrapped them on his waist. Afterwards he looked at his desk again and saw his chakra rod that he got from Yohiko, Pain. He reached over and grabbed it and attached it on his waist as well. "Well, this is as good a time as any to try and use it," he said to himself. All set and ready, he headed for the kitchen to grab a snack on Sensei's orders. Hinata's room. Hinata woke up to the sound of her alarm clock, but she gently shut hers off. Hinata was a morning person unlike most people in the village. She stood up to open her blinds to see that the sun's rays were barely scratching the horizon. Like Naruto, she took a shower and got ready also, grabbing her ninja gear and walked out the door to the kitchen hoping to see Naruto. Hyuga kitchen. Naruto was looking through cabinets to find a snack when he heard footsteps behind him. He turned around and saw Hinata. "Morning, Haim." Hinata walked over to him, hugged him and said, "Morning, Narikun. Ready for today?" Naruto nodded and said, "Yep, whatever Testachi sensei has planned for us we will pass it." He pulled some bread from the cabinet and went to the toaster to make some toast. Both had at least 2 slices each and a glass of water to keep themselves hydrated. They saw the clock and it said 5:20 and decided to head out. On their way to the gate they saw a few Hyugas who were on guard duty or were getting up for early training and exercises. They left in the compound and were headed for Training Ground 13 for their first time ever as a team. Training Ground 13. Shino was leaning against a tree waiting for his teammates to show up. Good thing he didn't have to wait long. He spotted the 2 lovebirds walking side by side. "Good morning, Hinata-chan, Naruto." Hinata was first to greet him. "Good morning to you too, Shino-san." Naruto greeted him too. "Morning, Shino. Get much sleep?" Shino answered, "Yes. I'm well rested and ready for today. What about you?" "This is a bad time to wake up. But I'm gonna have to put up with it," Naruto answered, rubbing the back of his head. "We have I think at least 10 minutes, since it took me and Hinata a while to find this training ground." He sat down and said he was gonna rest till Ichi showed up. Hinata agreed and sat next to him and rested her head on his shoulders. Shino sat next to a tree that the 3 were by and leaned against it to rest as well. The 3 rested for the 10 minutes before Shino felt the insects inside him move around, alerting him that someone was coming. He sat up and woke up Naruto and Hinata. The 3 stood up and saw Ichi walking to them. They rubbed their eyes for a second and stood up straight. Ichi stood looking at them. "Glad to see you 3 made it not only on time but also early. Now shall we begin?" He reached into a backpack that he brought and pulled out some rope. "Naruto-kun. Tie my right arm behind my back." Naruto didn't know why but he did it anyway. "Make sure it's good and tight." Naruto tightened it and made sure the knot was solid. "The point of this test will be that you will have to knock me on my back." Hinata asked, "Is that all we have to do, sensei?" Naruto and Shino were wondering also. The 3 had thought there would be more to it. Ichi nodded and said, "To make it fair, as you can see, I will only use my left arm, legs and anything else on my body I can use to counter you. I will attack but I will mostly try and defend against you. As well, since my arm is tied I can't use jutsu and I won't use my Sharingan." Naruto and Shino looked at each other. The 2 knew there was more than he was telling them. Ichi stood still and said, "Let's see if you can accomplish this. You have till noon to complete this. If not, I will deem you not worthy to be ninja and you will be sent back to the academy." Hinata and Naruto eyes widened. Shino's probably did if you could see through his glasses. Naruto yelled, "What? If we don't knock you on your back we are sent back to the academy?" Ichi replied, "Yes. Also if the one of you accomplishes this on her own, then that one will stay and the Hokage will give me 2 other students in place of the 2 who didn't knock me on my back. Use any weapons necessary and any tactic necessary to accomplish your mission. Basically come at me as if you want to kill me. Hinata was about to say something, but didn't get the chance before Shino put his hand in front of her. Wait, Hinata-chan. Let's just comply with him. Ichi smiled and thought, he understands. Shino reached out and put his hands on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto. Naruto turned to look at his teammate. Shino looked at Hinata and motioned his head to tell her come here. The three were in a huddle and Shino whispered, he's trying to trick us. Hinata asked, what do you mean, Shino? Shino answered, under normal circumstances a regular team would immediately attack on his or her own to try and successfully knock him down. He wants to turn us against each other, hoping to see if we attack him one at a time. Naruto wasn't sure but tried, so, what he means by just one of us knocking him down, he thinks that we would jump to conclusions and attack without thinking. Naruto's eyes widened, you already looked underneath the underneath. Shino at this point grinned, yes I have. He also told us, if the one of you accomplishes this on his, her own, then that one will stay. What if the whole exercise is meant for us to use teamwork to do this? Hinata said, he didn't say to use teamwork, because he hid it in his words trying to see if we catch it. So all we have to do is use teamwork to knock him down, and he can't say that the one took him down since it was all three of us that used effort to bring him down. Naruto looked to Shino, do you have a plan? Shino shook his head, why don't we play this one by ear? Naruto smiled and nodded, improvise huh? That's not like you, Shino. Shino only smiled again. Hinata said, well, let's do this. She put her hand in the middle, Naruto put his hand on top of hers, and Shino's was on the top of Naruto's hand. They took one glance at each other, then broke the huddle and looked at their sensei. Ichi was smiling, let's begin. Now. At that moment Naruto and Hinata rushed him while Shino unleashed his bugs to try and surround him. Hinata activated her Byakugan and threw Juken thrusts trying to aim for his upper body. He would counter and block with his left arm, hitting her wrist or her elbows. Naruto came to Ichi's side and tossed in some kicks which Ichi blocked and sidestepped. This went on for a while Shino was watching, collecting data. More and more time passed as the assaults of punches, kicks, and everything else was thrown at him. Shino only thought after observing, we would have never won if he used both his hands, his Sharingan, and Jutsu. Even with him holding back, this proves to be difficult. Naruto used kunais, shurikens, and his chakra rod to fight, but Ichi had pulled a kunai from his holster and would counter every strike Naruto threw at him. Hinata didn't use many weapons, only her shurikens to try and hit him in his legs. No matter how much they tried, they couldn't hit him. Hinata and Naruto switched back to their taijutsu skills to fight. Shino became the long-ranged helper by throwing his shuriken at Ichi to try and throw him off, or using his bugs to try and attack Ichi. Naruto took a few punches and kicks to block for Hinata from getting hit. This scramble went on for a while and Naruto was a little exhausted and Hinata wasn't far behind. More time went by and the clock was ticking and Shino couldn't find any openings or anything else that could really lead to victory. Even with Naruto summoning shadow clones, it didn't matter, Ichi just seemed to kick it into high gear and knock them around. Only when it was left to the real Naruto did he calm down and return to his normal pace. Ichi started going on the offensive only because of Naruto's high taijutsu level. Constant attacks back and forth between the two until Hinata jumped in to help. Naruto blocked almost all attacks unless it was aimed for Hinata, then Naruto would take the hit. Ichi was going to chop Hinata's neck, but before it could connect, Naruto hooked his foot around Hinata's leg and pulled on her leg. This caused her to trip somewhat and Ichi's attack missed. With Ichi's arm extended, Naruto grabbed his hand and did a judo throw, tossing Ichi over his shoulder. Ichi flipped in the air with ease. Before he could touch the ground, Shino used his bugs to engulf him, blurring his vision some. Naruto and Hinata waited for him to emerge so that they can continue the assault. Ichi did break out with great speed, heading for Shino. Naruto and Hinata rushed as quick as they could to rescue him. Ichi did a lunging punch at Shino. He avoided the attack, but Ichi's hand met the ground and used his upper body strength to hold himself up and used momentum to kick Shino, sending him back. Hinata ran behind Shino and caught him before he could hit the ground. Ichi waited for another attack, but it never came. Naruto was standing next to Hinata and Shino, waiting for them to recover before he attacked. Ichi thought, he's not thick-headed, he knows running in would result in a humiliating defeat. They are using teamwork to their advantage. Shino retracted his bugs back into his body and pulled out some kunai. He threw one at Ichi's head and watched him move to the right. Shino threw another one and again at Ichi's legs, only to see him move to the right again. Shino whispered enough for only the two to hear, "Naruto, Hinata." He keeps dodging right. It also appears he is adept in using momentum to his advantage. Naruto looked at Shino. "How's your taijutsu?" Shino answered, "Nowhere near as good as yours or Hinata's." Naruto chuckled, "Well then let's play it by ear then." Shino grinned, "Follow mine and Hinata's lead. Since I've never trained with you and vice versa, we will have to come up with something in the long run. I don't have time to show you mine and Hinata's teamwork. Follow as best you can. We only have 20 minutes left, let's make it count." Shino nodded in agreement. Naruto turned to Hinata, "I'll go for his legs. You handle his body, and Shino follow Hinata's lead." Naruto bit his thumb and did a series of hand signs, summoning jutsu. In a puff of smoke, two small toads appeared. "Yo, what's up, boss? Hey, where are we and where are the snacks?" Naruto looked at the two and said, "I need your guys' help right now. When we are done, I'll get you both lots of snacks, alright Gamatsu? Gamakiki, I need you to listen to this plan, okay?" The two toads nodded. Hinata did the same as Naruto and she yelled, summoning jutsu. Hinata's summons Toraditsu appeared and flew to Hinata's shoulder. "What is your bidding, Hinata-chan?" Naruto waved his hands for everyone to huddle as he went over his plan. Ichi only stood there, impressed that they were using teamwork to its fullest. The huddle broke, and they spread out more. "Let's go!" was all Naruto yelled as he started to run in a big wide pass to get behind Ichi to his right. Shino summoned his bugs deep down. He was hoping Naruto and Hinata's summons wouldn't eat them. All the bugs headed for Ichi. He jumped in the air out of the way, going to his right, trying not to get engulfed again. Hinata had Toraditsu fly into the air behind Ichi. She started flapping in front of him, breaking his line of sight. The bugs surrounded him and started to bite him. Ichi started to swing and swat both of them away, moving still to the right. Jumping again, he felt something wet on both his legs but couldn't see what they were in time. Hinata had her Byakugan activated still and jumped at Ichi and bear hugged Ichi as best she could, but wasn't able to catch his left arm. Naruto and Shino had run behind him and both of them kicked him in the back of the kneecaps, making him bend backward. Naruto followed up after kicking by reaching up and hooked his arm around Ichi's neck, and Shino grabbed Ichi's shirt at the shoulder, both of them forcing him to the ground. Ichi felt the things on his legs pull, knocking him even more off balance. The next thing he felt was his back slam on the ground. After he hit the ground, the bug swarm disappeared into Shino's body. Toraditsu flew high up, Naruto released his grip and so did Hinata. Once all that was gone, he looked at his feet to see two tongues wrapped around his legs, each belonging to Naruto's toad summons. He stood up and asked Naruto to cut his ties for his right arm. Naruto pulled out his chakra rod and cut the binds. Ichi looked at them. "You all did excellent." Naruto decided to say something. "Yeah, but if you had your other arm free, you could have used substitution to get out of it or even knocked us around." Ichi nodded. "That's true, but I had no intention of going all out against you guys. You never would have won if I had done that. I wanted to see if you could figure out what I was going to do. You used teamwork and you all rushed in to save and help a friend in need. How Naruto moved Hinata out of the line of my attacks, and the way Shino blocked my vision so his allies could have the upper hand, and finally with both of you rushing to save Shino from me. Teamwork is essential for any mission. Abandoning your friends for any reason is not acceptable. As I said yesterday, I dislike traitors. Not being there for your friends is betraying them. Friends are closest thing a ninja should have. With all that said, you all pass. Naruto jumped in the air, Hinata smiled, and Shino just stood there. Gamakiki looked at Naruto. Hey boss, are we done here? Naruto nodded. Thanks again you two for your assistance. Gamatsu said, hey, what about my snacks? Naruto looked at him. When I go out to eat, I will summon both of you again to come eat. The Toad brothers agreed and disappeared. Toritama flew down on Hinata's shoulder again. Anything else, Hinata-chan? Hinata shook her head. No thank you. Thanks you so much. Without your help we wouldn't have been so successful. Toritsu bowed her head and disappeared. Ichi turned to his students. Well, I now have a complete understanding about what you need improvement on. Shino, your long-range skills are perfect and they complement your strategic nature, but your taijutsu needs a lot of work. Hinata's Juken forms are excellent, but your reaction time isn't as fast as it should be, so we will work on that. Naruto, your taijutsu is flawless and you follow through perfectly. But from using your shadow clones so many times you are starting to wear down faster. This means your chakra control isn't that good entirely. Somehow you make up for it with your inhuman endurance. Come back here at 3 o'clock after you rest up and get some food in your stomachs. We start your training when you get back. Dismissed. He turned around, grabbed his bag and walked back to the village, leaving his students there. Naruto collapsed from exhaustion and fell on his hands and knees. Hinata kneeled down next to him, teared as well. Shino said, you two stay here, I'll go into the village and bring back some food. Naruto looked at Shino. Thanks man, could you get me some miso pork ramen? Shino nodded and he looked at Hinata. I'd like some dangos and a cinnamon roll if you don't mind, Shino. Shino told them, it's no problem, I'll return soon. He ran off to the village to get the food. Naruto and Hinata went by a nearby tree to lean against. Looks like we passed the test, Hinaheim. Hinata smiled and asked, are you hurt anywhere? Naruto pointed at his shoulder. Hinata lifted up his shirt and saw a bruise on his shoulder. Stay still, Naruto-kun. Hinata's hand started to glow and she ran her hand where his bruise was. Your shoulder is slightly fractured, nothing to worry about. He let out a sigh of relief. 10 minutes passed as the two waited for their friend to return with the food. You're good at this, Hinata-chan. Hinata smiled and said, my medical training with my mother and Shizune has improved. Naruto looked at her in confusion. Why doesn't Tsunade-bachan train you? Hinata kept her smile. She said that she is going to open up classes for a set number of students with good chakra control and a decent amount of chakra. If you are a Genin you don't get the full training, but if you're a Chunin you get the full time. Tell them if I'm picked then I'm picked. Speaking of chakra control, Naruto, I thought you were training with Kiba in chakra control? Naruto nodded, I am, but I'm learning to control my red chakra that I get from him. Hinata let out a oh. Hinata-chan. Do you think I should tell Shino about him? Hinata stopped what she was doing and looked at him and asked, do you think he will take it well? Naruto looked depressed. He deserves to know since we are on the same squad. Out of nowhere they heard, deserves to know what? Both Naruto and Hinata turned to see Shino standing behind them with the food in a metal container. Naruto was stunned. For a minute, well Shino, you see. He looked down with a depressed expression and told Shino about his friend inside of him and who sealed it in him and about the attempts on his life. Shino listened the whole time, not saying a word. Hinata didn't know if that was good or bad since that's how he always acts. Once Naruto stopped he looked at Shino, who only stared at him, before Shino finally spoke up. I see. So some of the villagers know about the demon and tried to kill you because of something that was out of your control. Naruto spoke up, I'll understand if you don't want to be my friend anymore or if you'd want to change squads. Shino interrupted Naruto's depression, why would I do that? You are my friend, the same one who 3 years ago beat up some kids at the academy because they were making fun of me because of my insect friends. You didn't judge me because of what I am, and I won't judge you for what you are really, a hero. Naruto stood up and held out a hand which Shino shook, and the two hugged. Thanks, Shino. Once they broke off, Hinata spoke up, well, let's eat before our food gets entirely cold. Shino and Naruto sat back down and opened the metal container and pulled out the food. Naruto grabbed his ramen, Hinata got her dingos and cinnamon roll, and Shino got some wild grass salad to eat. The three friends just sat and ate in peace, talking the whole time. They decided to rest and sleep there till 3 o'clock, not bothering to head home. Ichi returned to help them with their training. For the entire day they trained to improve on their weaknesses. Naruto was being taught on his chakra control, Hinata was having fireball jutsus thrown at her as well as some kunais that was to help her reaction time, and Shino was being taught a style of taijutsu. It was around 7 when Ichi was going to call it today. Okay guys, let's stop training here for today. Tomorrow I will teach you to walk up trees, and if there is enough time I will teach you to walk on water. Naruto spoke up, can we really do all that? Ichi smiled and started walking away. Meet back here around 9 tomorrow morning. Then get ready, then the next day we start our missions. Dismissed. Naruto grabbed Hinata's hand and Shino walked next to them. They headed back to the village. See you two tomorrow. I have to take this container back to Icarus. Hinata smiled, okay Shino, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Naruto walked up to Shino and held out his hand again, thanks for understanding Shino, you really are a great friend. Shino shook his hand, Naruto, remember yesterday when I said that I would help a certain person get to the top? Naruto nodded, I was talking about you. Naruto was stunned for a minute then smiled, thanks Shino, really. Shino started to walk away and waved to his friends one last time before turning the corner. Naruto and Hinata walked back home and they couldn't wait but to tell everyone how their first day was. Naruto couldn't wait as well since Neji's summons told them he would be home today and he wanted to show him his headband and tell him about his squad and about his sensei. Hyuga compound, Neji's room. Neji had just set down his equipment and started unpacking all of his stuff he took with him on his mission. Gay was in the Hayashi's office talking with him about the mission and how Neji controlled certain situations. Neji decided not to train today and dropped himself on his bed and drifted to sleep. He woke up to knocking at his door and grunted when he had to get up, come in. Not bothering to activate his Byakugan to see who it was. Naruto and Hinata entered, hello. The two said together. Neji smiled and waved his hand for them to come in. Hinata looked at her cousin, Neji, nice, and how was your mission to the waterfall village? Neji grunted a bit, it was okay, aside from Gay Sensei and Lee yelling about flames of youth everything else was okay. Naruto grinned, do you meet anyone to really talk to? Neji paused for a minute, as a matter of fact I did. This girl who was about our age, she had neon green hair, red eyes, tan skin, and a white outfit. It was strange, she kept going on about being called a monster and a demon. The villagers were afraid of her, but none took actions against her. Hinata and Naruto looked at each other, what did you guys say? Hinata asked. Gay Sensei asked what she meant about that. She only said that she has a monster inside of her. We talked to her for a bit and she said the villagers leave her alone, they don't attack her or insult her, they just act like she doesn't exist. Neji finished with, she told us that she killed her mother when she was born and that her name was Fu. Hinata was confused, but Naruto knew something and decided to mind link with Kyuubi. Hey Kyuubi. What is it, Naruto? Kyuubi asked in a sleepy tone. A long time ago you said something about 8 more or something like that, you remember? Kyuubi nodded, what about it? Did you mean to say that there are 8 more people like me? There was an awkward silence before Kyuubi spoke up, yes. You didn't think that this village had the only idea to use demons like us as weapons, did you? Naruto was shocked and couldn't even say anything. Have you found another one? Naruto shook his head, no. Neji found a girl in Waterfall who says that she has a monster inside of her. Kyuubi thought for a minute, if my memory is good, That area was controlled by the seven-tailed horned beetle. Unlike the rest of us, he lives the life of a shut-in, around mountains, forests, or near waterfalls like most bugs. Do you know where any of the others are? Kubai said, "It's not your time to seek them out yet. If they come to us then it's okay, but it is too risky to search them out. But leave it be. We will look for them soon enough. If you go around saying things about people like you running around in other villages, the other villages that have them might see this as a threat. They will start to believe that if Jinchuriki meet that they might attempt to team up to destroy them." Jinchuriki? It's a word villagers and ninja use to describe people with tailed beasts sealed within them. So we do nothing. Don't be depressed, you are bound to meet some if not all of them soon enough. Can I at least know what are the other demons? Kubai let out a sigh. Fine, but give me your word that you don't say anything about this outside this conversation. Naruto said yes and listened to his tailed beast. First there's the one-tailed Shukaku, the two-tailed demon cat, the three-tailed giant turtle, the four-tailed monkey, the five-tailed dolphin horse, the six-tailed slug, the seven-tailed horned beetle, and the eight-tailed giant ox. Naruto last said, "Thanks, I feel a lot better knowing that there are others like me out there." Kubai nodded and Naruto cut the link, returning to the conversation with Neji. Neji. Neji turned and looked at Naruto. "Did anyone tell you what happened with our graduation?" Neji smiled and knew where this was going but decided to shake his head saying number. Hinata smiled as well and decided to tell what happened. "Well, me and Naruto-kun aced the graduation test and got our headbands." Neji looked puzzled, noticing that they didn't have theirs on. "Where are they?" Neji asked. Naruto stepped in. "We left them in our rooms, but anyways it was cool, I was named Rookie of the Year." Neji smiled and thought, "You're getting closer, Naruto. Soon we will have our destined match with each other." "That's great, Naruto, I guess that means you're only getting stronger," said Neji. Hinata continued, "And me and Naruto are on the same squad with Shino, also our sensei had us pass this test of his and the three of us passed the test." Neji wanted to know who their sensei was, "So who did the Hokage set you up with?" Naruto said, "Ichi Ukaya." Neji's eyes were wide at this point. "Their sensei is Ichi? How did Hayashi-sama let this happen? I thought that he hated the Ukaya." Naruto smiled more. "We start official training tomorrow, it's going to kick so much ass." Naruto was smiling more and more. Neji was still surprised, but then thought of this as an upside. If he trains Naruto, then he will most definitely get stronger. "I can't wait. That's good that both of you have a sensei like him," said Neji. Hinata smiled and looked over at a clock in Neji's room. "Well, Kasan said that dinner would be ready soon. Let's go, Naruto-kun. Neji is probably tired and wants to rest before dinner." Naruto nodded and said, "I'll come get you when dinner is ready." Neji nodded and watched the two leave the room together. Those two make a great couple. He turned to lay down on his bed and get some well-deserved rest, dreading the fact that Gay told him that they were going to do laps all around the village early in the morning, with Lee yelling that if they don't complete that they would have to do 1,000 sit-ups. Think Kami Tintin is the normal one in the group. 2 weeks passed and Squad 13 had completed more D-ranked missions than the other rookie squads. Their first C-ranked mission was delivering supplies to one of the towns in the Land of Fire, meeting only a minor problem with some bandits. Ichi was impressed with their improvement. Naruto's chakra control was as good as any other Hyuga. Shino improved in his taijutsu in case he had to handle a hand-to-hand combat situation, and Hinata's reaction times for attacks and being attacked improved greatly. They learned to walk on walls and water the first few days. He was able to find out whose element was what by using the chakra paper. Naruto was a wind and water user, Shino was a earth user, and Hinata was a lightning user. They were able to combine their techniques with their elements to help make their attacks that much more effective. Sarutobi was considering naming them Rookie Squad of the Year. It was midday and Squad 13 were summoned to the Hokage Tower for their next mission. Ichi was already there waiting while Naruto and the others were making their way there and ran into Squad 7. Naruto yelled out, "What's up, Kiba?" Kiba yelled back, "Nothing much, Naruto." The two practically bear-hugged each other. Akamaru jumped off his head and ran to Hinata, breaking their hug. Kiba looked at Shino. "Hey Shino, how's everything going?" Shino said, "Everything is okay. We were just on our way to the Hokage's office to discuss our next mission." Sakura said, "I heard that not too long ago you guys completed a C-ranked mission. Is that right, Hinata-chan?" Hinata smiled, petting Akamaru. She answered, "Yeah, we were delivered supplies to a town not too far from here." Sasuke remained quiet the whole time. He didn't like Naruto as it was, but he was even more pissed off when he found out Ichi was training him. Fugaku raised hell about that situation at the clan meeting. Sarutobi had told him how having Ichi-sensei Sasuke would be bad as it could lead to favoritism. What topped it all off was when he told Fugaku that Ichi was the one who personally requested Naruto to be his student. Fugaku later demanded Ichi drop being sensei. Ichi retaliated with the fact that he didn't have to follow his orders even as a clan head in legal ninja matters, and that the Hokage had that kind of position. Sasuke looked at Naruto. "Hey Dobi." Naruto sighed, already knowing where this was going to go. He didn't like to get into altercations with Sasuke before, since he had to deal with ridicule from his fans. "What's up, Sasuke? I want to see how strong you are. Fight me now." Sasuke took a stance. Naruto looked at Hinata, who shook her head. "Sorry Sasuke, we have to go meet Ichi-sensei and the Hokage for our next mission." Naruto turned his back to Sasuke and walked away. Sasuke saw this as being ignored and ran at him, prepared to punch him. He was only inches away when he felt a hand grip his wrist. He looked to see who it was and saw Shino holding his wrist. Naruto had stopped and turned around and wasn't surprised to see Shino stop the attack. Attacking a fellow ninja from behind. "Now that's disgraceful, even for Nakaya," Shino said with a cold tone. Kiba was watching and was amazed at Shino's speed. Sakura was even more shocked to see standing behind Sasuke was Hinata, with her right palm inches away from Sasuke's back while holding Akamaru in her left arm still. Kiba decided to speak up. "Hate him, Shino's right, attacking a fellow leaf nin from behind is low." Sasuke broke his wrist free from Shino and stared at Naruto. "You're afraid to fight me, aren't you?" Sakura spoke up. "Sasuke, let's not turn this into a fight. We have to meet the Hokage as well. Showing up late is rude and disrespectful." Sakura had to break up arguments between him and Kiba on occasions, so she was used to this. Sasuke was still pissed and passed Naruto, bumping his shoulder in the process. Sakura looked at Naruto. "Sorry about that, Naruto, he's just difficult sometimes." Naruto put a hand on her shoulders. "Hey, don't worry about it, Sakura." Sakura smiled, turned around and followed right behind Sasuke. Kiba was still standing with Naruto and the others. "Mind if I head to the Kage's office with you guys?" Hinata smiled. "Yeah, it's no problem, right guys?" Naruto and Shino nodded. The four of them and Akamaru made their way to the Kage's office. They caught up with Sasuke and Sakura, and all of them entered the Kage's office all at once. The Hokage, Kakashi, and Ichi were in the room waiting. I see Squad 713 showed up together." Sarutobi smiled. Ichi was standing to the Kage's right and Kakashi was standing on the opposite side. Naruto, Hinata, and Shino moved to where Ichi was, while Sakura, Sasuke, Kiba and Akamaru moved to where Kakashi was standing. Naruto had to refrain from calling Kakashi Nyaisen. Kakashi explained that it wouldn't look good if he did. Sarutobi said, "It seems we have here a mission to the Land of Waves," seeing as how Kakashi said that his squad is ready for their first C-ranked mission, and seeing how Ichi's squad have already accomplished a C-rank mission as well as a massive amount of D-rank missions in such a short time. "I've decided to make this a joint operation. Sakura was confused. Hokage-sama, has there ever been such a thing? Sarutobi nodded, it is rare, but it isn't unheard of. Squad 7 is more of a frontal assault squad while Squad 13 has more stealth and information gathering skills. Kiba spoke, what's the mission, Hokage-sama? Sarutobi pulled out 2 folders and placed them on his desk. Kakashi and Ichi walked over to pick them up. The client is a man named Izuna. He is a bridge builder. He is asking that we escort and protect him from some bandits who wish to take his life. Sarutobi reached over to press a button on his desk. After pressing it, the door to his office opened and an old man walked in with a bottle of alcohol in his hand. So my life is to be entrusted to these 6 pipsqueaks. Kiba yelled, who you calling pipsqueaks, you drunk? Akamaru barked afterwards. Kakashi put his hand on Kiba's shoulder, let's not turn this into something it shouldn't. Sasuke mumbled, baka. Kiba caught that but didn't say anything. Sarutobi let out a cough, as I was saying, this is how the mission will go. Squad 7 will escort Izuna here to his home in Wave Country. While Squad 13 will take the scenic route and head straight for the bridge in case there are bandits waiting for Izuna. Do you all understand the mission? Both squads nodded. Good, then the mission starts in 3 hours, go home, pack what you will need for the mission, then meet at the main gate. Sarutobi pulled out a map and handed it to Ichi. Here is a map to show you what direction to take to get to the bridge. I've also mapped where Izuna's home is in case you need to go there first. Pulling out a second map, he looked at Kakashi. You have Izuna, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a map. Kakashi grabbed the map and took a step back and bowed, then walked to his squad. Ichi did the same, he bowed and looked at his team. Pack smart for this mission. Bring ration bars, if you can, some healthy foods, and weapons, to bring them. If you think you might need something else for this mission to be a success, bring it. In unison they all said, hi, sensei? Squad 13 took their leave, followed by Squad 7. Izuna stayed behind to talk about the mission with the cage. Outside the Hokage Tower, well, let's head back home, Hinata-chan. Hinata nodded and they both headed home to pack up. Shino looked at Ichi, see you at the gate, sensei? Ichi nodded his head. Shino started walking away. Sakura looked at Sasuke, I have to go pack too. I'll see you later, Sasuke-kun. Sasuke, like always, ignored her. Sakura frowned some, but before leaving she heard Kiba. Kiba was irritated and looked at Kakashi. Kakashi-sensei, I'll see you at the gate also. Kakashi nodded, don't be late, Kakashi-sensei? Kiba said that last part with a lot of effort. Kakashi frowned and watched him walk away. Well, I'll take my leave as well, see you later, Sasuke-kun. Ichi-sensei, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura turned around and headed back to pack, leaving the 3 at the front building. Kakashi waved to Ichi and disappeared using Shunshin. Ichi and Sasuke were left and started walking home. Ichi spoke without making eye contact to Sasuke, do you like the Haruno girl? Sasuke shook his head, number. It's a one-sided kind of thing. Ichi was emotionless, then he was starting to think about Aoi and how he wasn't spending a lot of time with her recently. She won't let me live this down if I don't see her before I leave for this mission. Maybe I should buy her something as an apology gift. He thought. The 2 brothers walked back to the Akaya compound to prepare for the mission. Konoha main entrance, Naruto, Hinata, and Shino were already waiting, all packed and ready. Kiba and Akamaru showed up and joined them. Sakura came next, running to Hinata so the 2 could talk. To Kiba's annoyance, Izuna showed up being escorted by Kakashi, who was actually on time. Gasp. People start to scream about the end of time. The only ones they waited for were Ichi and Sasuke to show up. The 2 showed up with some time to spare with their packs. Everyone got into their groups and were all set up. Ichi looked at his squad. Naruto, when we reach the land of waves, I want you to cover the center. Shino will take the lead, Hinata will be behind Naruto, and I will cover the back. The 3 nodded. Ichi turned to Kakashi, we will head out first. Once we know for certain no one is on or near the bridge, we will meet you at Izuna's home." Kakashi shook his head in agreement. "That sounds like a plan. See you when we see you." Ichi turned back to his squad and said, "All right, move out." The trio looked at him and said, "Hi." Getting into a ready position, the four began to sprint out the gate and started their journey to the Land of Waves. Land of Waves. Naruto and his squad were making great progress. They ran into a few bandits, rested once in a while, and were in wave country before they knew it. They were walking some ways before they all noticed a puddle of water off to the side. Ichi thought, "Is this serious?" Thinking about whoever was going to attack was an idiot. Ichi spoke low enough for them to hear, "Keep walking, let's see what happens." An extra few steps before it happened, two figures emerged from the puddle and went for Ichi. The two Mist Ninja were running side by side. Before they got 5 feet of Ichi, Naruto appeared by one and kneed him in his face, while Hinata ducked beneath the second and hit his points and his legs, then attacked his shoulders, paralyzing him. Ichi stood by to watch and see how they would handle the situation. Shino had sent his bugs after the one Naruto attacked. His bugs started to bite into him and drain him of his chakra. Since his entire body was surrounded, it didn't take long for him to be completely drained. Ichi smiled, "You all did great, now let's see what kind of information we can get." He walked over to their unconscious bodies. "Well, if it isn't the demon brothers of the mist." Hinata was next to Ichi. "Who are they?" Ichi pulled off their gauntlets and found a chain hidden within each one and tied them up with it to a tree. "They are from the Kirigakure Rouge ninjas who've abandoned their village. These two helped a ninja named Zabuza Momoki in an assassination attempt on the Mizukage's life, but that failed miserably." The two brothers slowly woke up. The one Hinata hit was still paralyzed, while the one Naruto and Shino attacked could barely move since his jaw hurt and his chakra almost completely drained. Ichi sat in front of them. "Why did you attack us?" The two remained silent, looking away from him. Ichi sighed and closed his eyes. "Looks like I'm going to have to do this the hard way." He opened his eyes to reveal his Sharingan. The two brothers then realized who he was. In an instant, Ichi grabbed the one Hinata attacked and forced his eyes open. Naruto knew this was how Akaya interrogated people, since he saw this already on their last C-rank mission when he got information from the bandit leader. Kubai set up a link with Naruto. "Hey Kit." Naruto paused and thought, "What's up?" Kubai told him, "I want you to use my chakra. I will lend you my eyes." Naruto knew what he meant, since he would have Kubai's red slit eyes. Naruto didn't think of this as a jutsu, since the only thing it allowed him to do was induce a great amount of fear into his opponents. But he did what he was told. He closed his eyes and opened them again to show he had Kubai's eyes. Shino saw his eyes and remembered how much stronger he is when he fights using them after watching his one-on-one sessions with Ichi. Hinata knew he was going to do an interrogation as well, since he did the same thing on their first C rank. Naruto leaned down to the one he and Shino took down. The man's eyes widened in horror at what the boy just did. He blinked once, and when his eyes opened he was in a sewer and untied. Confused at first and didn't know where he was, he thought it was a jinjutsu, so he brought his hands together and tried to deactivate the jinjutsu, but it didn't help. What scared him was he heard loud breathing behind him. Turning around slowly, he looked to see a giant fox laying on the flooded ground staring at him. "He's not in the cage." He almost pissed himself at the sight. Taking one step back, Kubai's eyes widened and he roared at the man so loud that he disappeared. He awoke screaming. Ichi looked over to see Naruto squatting next to him with his eyes red. Naruto looked at the man with his now blue eyes. "You want to talk now?" The man nodded quickly and said, "We were hired by Gato, to find the bridge builder Tizuna and kill him." Ichi looked at this ninja. What other ninja does this Gato have on his payroll? He still looked terrified. "Well, he hired all of us. Zabuza's whole crew." Ichi looked at the other one. "Is this true?" The other ninja nodded. "Yes, whatever you did to my brother seemed to have worked, so there is no point in hiding it." "Who else is in on this?" Ichi demanded. The brothers looked at each other momentarily before answering, well, there's of course Zabuza and there's also Daimos, Obaro, Tetsuya, and Haku. Shino spoke up, if I'm not mistaken sensei, I think Obaro is one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist as well as Zabuza. One of the brothers spoke, yes, he joined Zabuza after the attempt on the Mizukage's life after he attempted to kill all of the council members. Ichi ran through some hand signs, then he stared at the ninjas with his Sharingan and the 2 passed out. He pulled out a sheet of paper and began to write something on it. Hinata, summon one of your birds and send this message to the Mizukage and tell them the location of their 2 Nuknins. Hinata nodded, going through some hand signs and summoned a crow who had a vest jacket on with the leaf symbol on the back. Crow-kun, could you deliver this message to the Mizukage just east of here? The crow couldn't speak but it could understand English and began to nod. Hinata attached the message to his leg and he flew away. Naruto was in deep thought, then looked to Ichi with concern. Ichi-sensei, since these 2 attacked us, isn't it possible they would attack Kakashi-sensei's group? Ichi pulled out his map and scanned it. They are too far away, chances are they were already attacked. Let's move quickly, we will go to Tizuna's first to see if they've made it, if not then we will take this trail here. Shino looked at the spot he pointed at. Sensei, if they beat whoever attacks them, under Kakashi's orders they would return to the village for being deceived by Tizuna. Hinata spoke up, yes, Shino does have a point. Then again they wouldn't be sure if we were attacked as well, so they could continue on to make sure we are okay, just like how we are about to do, also not leaving out the fact that if they are injured they would go to Tizuna's to heal. Ichi looked at Hinata, summon another bird, likely a small one like a canary. Send it off to look for them along this trail here. Hinata turned around again and summoned the small yellow bird who, like the crow, had a mini jacket on. Giving the small bird its instructions, the bird hopped slightly then flew away. Okay squad, let's move out. Naruto and the others nodded and began running at breakneck speed. Running non-stop, they were close to their destination. They ran into Hinata's canary almost 5 miles from their destined point, and it had a small paper attached to it. They read that Kakashi's squad were attacked by one of Zabuza's cronies, but were able to survive, and that they were going to Tizuna's to heal and wait for them. They decided to stick with Ichi's plan of meeting them at Tizuna's home and continued their long run to their destination. Tizuna's home. Ichi looked ahead and saw the meeting point. Okay, you 3 were here. They all had landed in front of the house and Ichi stepped up and knocked on the door. They waited a second before a woman answered the door. Who are you? My name is Ichi Akaya. This is my squad, Naruto Uzumaki, Hinata Hyuga, and Shino Aburame. Pointing to each of his students, we were ordered to protect your father Tizuna, while he built the bridge. She opened the door wider. My name is Tsunami, my father isn't home right now. Hinata said, Sensei, that means they could still be in trouble. Ichi nodded, okay Hinata, Shino, I want you 2 to stay here as protection in case someone tries to attack her. Me and Naruto will go in the direction they are supposed to come from. Shino and Hinata nodded, okay. Let's go Naruto. He leapt away and Naruto looked at Hinata and said, I'll come back in one piece. Hinata looked in his eyes, you better. Naruto gave her a reassuring smile and leapt away also. Shino and Hinata turned around and walked inside and set up a perimeter using Shino's bugs while Hinata scanned the area with her Byakugan every 5 minutes. Naruto and Ichi were jumping tree to tree, slowly entering a mist. Ichi said to Naruto, hey, this is a chakra-filled mist, be on guard. Naruto told him, hi, sensei? They came to a stop when they heard metal clings. Stopping on a large branch, they looked and saw Kakashi fighting a tall man with bandages on his face and a huge sword. More off to the side they saw Sasuke and Kiba trying to fight a indigo-haired woman who had on a blue and black Miss Ninja outfit and a katana in her hands, and Sakura was at a tree line protecting Tizuna. Naruto, handle the women, I'll back up Kakashi. Naruto looked at his sensei and nodded, by the way Naruto. Naruto stopped and looked at his sensei, And this quick. Naruto sighed and said, "Hi, sensei?" Sasuke and Kiba. Sasuke was holding his right eye, blood was trickling down from his hand holding the area where he was cut. Kiba was holding his right leg and pulled a bloody kunai out of his leg, and Akamaru was lying by a tree unconscious. The attacker had some scrapes and bruises, but nothing that she thought were serious. I gotta say, you two struggled for a minute. But it all ends here, boys. Remember my name, so that you can curse it in the afterlife. My name is Tetsuya, the Kenjutsu mistress. Saying her speech between breaths, she then leapt at the two boys. Almost halfway there she felt a pressure change in the air, stopping as quick as she could, skidding across the ground a couple feet from Kiba and Sasuke. She saw a gust of wind coming at her, knocking her off her feet, sending her flying. She recovered to see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy. The first thought that ran through her head was, "Damn, he's gorgeous." Naruto looked over to his fellow Leaf Nin. "Kiba, you okay, man?" Kiba was breathing heavily. "Hey, Naruto. I'm fine. I just need to," and he passed out right there from exhaustion. Sasuke looked at him. "What are you doing here, Dobi?" Naruto looked at Sasuke. "To save you, under Itachi-sensei's orders." Sasuke winced. He thought that his brother would look down on him now for having needed to be saved. Tetsuya yelled, "Hey, Naruto, is it?" Naruto turned back to his opponent. "Yeah, that's my name." Tetsuya giggled and looked him in the eyes. "Why don't you come over with me? I can make you into a real man." Finishing the last part off in a seductive voice. Naruto smiled and closed his eyes. "Sorry, I got a girl." Tetsuya frowned. "Well, then I guess I'll take you back with me by force and turn you into my play toy." She got into a crouch position and was prepared to attack. "Here I come." Before she could move, Naruto told her, "Do you mind if we could end our fight quick? I'm under orders to do so." She stared at him and smiled. "Well, aren't you Mr. Cool? Makes me want you all the more." "Sure, go ahead if you can." Tetsuya jumped at Naruto, who only ran through some hand signs and yelled, "Water style, torpedo jutsu!" Shooting a blast of water from the air in front of him. Shooting at her, it hit the unfortunate woman with such force that she flew back, hitting and going through a nearby tree, knocking the breath out of her on contact. Sasuke was stunned. "How did you do that?" Naruto looked at Sasuke and rose his hand halfway in the air, the moisture in the air from this mist. "That's not what I meant. How did you learn that move?" Naruto didn't really want to answer. "How and who did you learn your fire style?" Sasuke looked at him extremely pissed and thought, "Itchy." Tetsuya stood up as best she could and said, "You weren't lying." Naruto looked at her. "Nope. You see, I don't use my ninjutsu a lot. It ends my fights too quickly. You can't really savor the fight. I take more pride in my taijutsu skills. It drags the battle out and you get a better feel for your opponent. It's more fun that way." In what seemed like a split second, a shadow figure appeared behind Tetsuya. Naruto just watched at the scene in front of him while Sasuke went wide-eyed. Kakashi vs Zabuza. Both ninja were exhausted from their long battle. Kakashi had cuts on his body the same as Zabuza. "Kakashi, the copy ninja. Never would have thought I'd be fighting you." Zabuza said, "This battle has been real fun, but let's get this over with." Kakashi was worn out from his overuse of his Sharingan. "Zabuza is still not as tired as I am. I need a miracle to survive this." Zabuza rushed at Kakashi swinging his sword. Kakashi had a kunai drawn, but at his current strength it wouldn't be enough to stop the giant sword. Zabuza's sword came down inches away from Kakashi. Zabuza felt someone hit his sword at the bottom of the handle, knocking it out of his hands, then a kick in his chest knocking him back a couple feet. Recovering, he looked ahead of him to see Uchiha. Kakashi fell to his knees exhausted. "Good to see you, Ichi," Kakashi said between breaths. Ichi looked at Kakashi. "He must be strong if he did this to you." Kakashi told him, "This mist blocks the Sharingan abilities well enough for it to be cut in half. What can and can't you do?" asked Ichi. Kakashi took a good breath. We can't copy his ninjutsu. I can follow and somewhat predict his movements, but that's difficult. Zabuza stood up and put his hands together and yelled, "Water clone jutsu!" Out of the mist a water clone of Zabuza was formed. "Fetch me my guillotine." The clone nodded and ran around the two-leaf ninja. The clone successfully attained the sword and with such force it threw the blade at Kakashi and Ichi. Ichi grabbed hold of Kakashi's vest and leapt over the blade, dodging it. What they thought was an attack was actually the clone giving the massive weapon back to Zabuza. Timing it just right, he let the blade pass him till the handle was in reach. Zabuza with ease grabbed the blade and didn't even move an inch from his spot. "Well, this has been fun fighting you, Kakashi, but fighting both you and Ichi Uchiha would be suicide. I'll be back for the old bridge builder, till we meet again." Ichi saw another figure appear from the mist landing beside Zabuza. "Zabuza-sama, I've brought Tetsuya. She lost to this blonde boy named Naruto Uzumaki." Kakashi saw this new enemy with the women he left Kiba and Sasuke to fight thrown over the ninja's shoulder. "He looks like a hunter but he is so young and he's working with Zabuza. What's going on?" Zabuza looked at his partner. "Tetsuya lost? Looks like I need new recruits. Daimos lost against Kakashi and it would seem that the Demon Brothers won't be coming back anytime soon." This wasn't seen. "I understand Kakashi winning against Daimos, but the boy must have been strong to defeat Tetsuya. It doesn't matter, let's go Haku. I'm almost out of chakra and you don't stand a chance against Ichi." Haku nodded. Zabuza put his hands together and the mist got thicker and thicker until the three disappeared as did the mist. Ichi was still holding Kakashi up. "Let's regroup and find the others." Kakashi spoke. "Sakura's over there hiding with Tizuna." Kakashi was pointing at a group of trees. After finding Sakura and Tizuna, the four found Naruto, Sasuke, Kiba and Akamaru. Naruto summoned up his clones to carry the three, but Sasuke ignored him and said he could walk on his own. Sakura ran to Sasuke to help patch up his injuries. A clone Naruto was carrying Kiba on his back and another had Akamaru in his hands. Tizuna's home. Slowly but surely the group made it to Tizuna's home, with Hinata waiting outside. "Narikun! You're back!" She ran over and hugged him tightly. Ichi said to everyone, "Okay, everyone inside." He looks at Tizuna with a displeased look. "We need to talk. Now." Tizuna felt a chill run up his back and could do nothing but nod. Everyone walked inside to the living room and settled down. Tsunami had went to get some first aid kits so that Hinata had a little more to work with when fixing everyone up. Hinata patched up Kakashi's cuts, she bandaged up a passed out Kiba, she even tried to fix Akamaru up even though she wasn't a vet. Her biggest problem was Sasuke. She told Ichi that his right eye was too damaged and couldn't be healed, he wouldn't be able to see out of that eye ever. Ichi knew better though. He knew that if his father found out about his eye that he would force an unfortunate Takai to hand over his right eye in exchange. Showing concern for his brother, he walked over to where Sasuke and Sakura were sitting. Both were outside on the patio swing, not saying a word to each other for short periods of time. Sasuke had bandages over his right eye and he was very depressed about it, and Sakura was trying her best to cheer him up, but to no success. "Sasuke, how do you feel?" asked Ichi. Sasuke couldn't look him in his eyes, so he kept his focus on the floor. "I was saved by Naruto. I should have been stronger." Ichi put a hand on Sakura's shoulder. "Sakura-chan, can you give me a minute with Sasuke?" Sakura looked at him, nodded and walked away, entering the house, closing the door behind her. There was a silence between the two for a while before Ichi spoke. "Are you ashamed that a fellow Leaf Nin saved you?" "Yes," was the only response. "Why?" "Because Ichi. For me to be saved by Dobi like him, it's embarrassing." Ichi was disappointed in his brother's words. Sasuke is becoming more and more like the rest of the clan. Ichi thought to himself. "Sasuke, there is no shame in being saved by a comrade." Sasuke's eye shot up at him. "What would you know? You've never had to have ever been saved by anyone, so you don't know the shame." Sasuke was fuming with anger. Ichi turned his back to him about to enter the home but decided to give him something to think about. "You're wrong, Sasuke." Sasuke's eyes were still locked on his brother. "I do know what it feels like to feel shame for being saved." Sasuke's eye widened in confusion. "It's because of her that I am still alive today and the reason for my change in attitude over these years." Ichi didn't give him a chance to react and walked inside, leaving Sasuke to his thoughts. Ichi entered the living room where everyone was seated. Sakura stood up ready to go back to Sasuke's side before she was stopped by Ichi. "Leave him be for now, Sakura. He has a lot on his mind right now." Sakura sighed. "Hi, sensei?" She turned around and sat next to Kiba, who had Akamaru in his hands. Kakashi looked at Tizuna. "Why didn't you tell us that not only bandits would be after you but ninja as well?" Tsunami was sitting next to Tizuna. Naruto noticed that he didn't want to talk and decided to ask, "Tsunami-san, why weren't we told that we would be running into enemy ninja?" Tsunami was looking back and forth between her father and Naruto before answering. "If you have seen the village, then you would be able to see that we're in a depression and its name is Gato." Kakashi asked. "I see now. You couldn't tell us because you wouldn't be able to pay." Kiba asked, "What do you mean, sensei?" Kiba wasn't stupid, but it only takes him a while to understand. Shino answered his question. "Normally missions where we fight other enemy ninja wouldn't be a C rank mission. Something like this would be at least a high B rank or even an E rank mission. But, what I don't get is why you didn't pay for a B rank mission. At least you would have had a 3-man Chunin squad escort you." Tizuna spoke up. "It's just like it sounds. We thought that only 3 ninja wouldn't be enough. We had enough money to pay for 8 ninja for a C rank, which is a lot better than 3 ninja for B rank." Shino responded with, "But 6 of us are only Jonin who are still fresh from the academy," also added that our Jounin are responsible for our safety. "Not only did you lie about the mission, you also put us in danger because you withheld information." Before he could finish, Akamaru barked at him. "Sorry, including Akamaru you put in danger." Looks over at Akamaru. "Happy now?" Akamaru did one bark and laid back down. Kiba let out a no before saying, "So what you're saying is that you guys," pointing at Tizuna and his daughter, "lied to us about the mission." Tizuna looked at Ichi. "You have to understand, the bridge needs to be built if we are to be freed from Gato. He puts taxes on us that some of the villagers cannot pay. If we don't pay we are killed, if we do pay we starve." Those who believed this could work put up as much money as they could so that this plan could work, but you must believe me when I say that if you help us and the bridge gets completed, which will be in a week at the most, I can pay for the rest of the mission. Tizuna was on his hands and knees bowing to the ninja. Ichi answered, "You don't understand the situation, Tizuna." Tizuna's head lifted. Just as Shino said, these 6 young ninja are fresh out of the academy. The only real experience in fighting they have are sparring with each other. He looked over at Naruto. "All except myself, Kakashi, and Naruto can have experience in killing an enemy, the others do not." Tsunami was shocked and asked Naruto, "You killed someone?" Naruto answered, "It was when I was 7, a man that Hinata-chan's clan trusted tried to kill my precious people. I had no choice." Naruto didn't have no emotion when he told them. Hinata was sitting to his side and grabbed his hand and gripped it tight. Naruto looked over at her and smiled. Kiba was shocked, as was Sakura. Shino knew about the attempted assassination on Naruto and how he killed the assassin and thought that the man deserved it. Kakashi didn't like the stares Naruto was getting from his squad, Tsunami and Tizuna. "It doesn't matter how many of us have killed Tizuna, the point is that they aren't ready for something like this. It doesn't matter if we took down 3 of Zabuza's followers." Ichi looked over at Kakashi. "We took out the Demon Brothers. Who did you defeat?" "Daimos of the Deep Blue. His water-style jutsus were strong, but a few shots of Marakiri did the job. That doesn't excuse that there are ninja out there who want you dead, Tizuna. As of right now our squads will return to the village. You won't be entitled to a refund since you withheld information from us and placed our students in danger. Kakashi was about to stand when he saw Tazuna bow down at his feet begging for them to stay. Tazuna spent a while begging Kakashi to help until Naruto spoke up, "Ichi-sensei?" Ichi looked at his student, "Let's follow through the mission. I know that Tazuna can complete it in the week. I'm sure we can even finish the bridge sooner if I use my shadow clones." Both Kakashi and Ichi sighed. Kakashi was going to speak up again before Hinata stood up, "Ichi-sensei, I believe that we can do this." Ichi wasn't surprised to see Hinata stand up and back Naruto up. Shina took a stand as well, "Sensei, I know that we are ready for this mission. I also know that I am the most logical thinker when it comes to situations like this, but I know that Naruto and Hinata are not wrong when they say that we can get this done." That is where Ichi was surprised. Shina was the logical one of the group and yet just now he threw logic thinking out the window and decided to go with his gut instinct. Kakashi looked at his two students, "Well, what do you two think?" Akamaru was the first to react with loud barks and wagging his tail happily, which meant he wanted to continue. Kiba smiled at how happy Akamaru was and said, "I say let's go through with the mission, Kakashi-sensei." Sakura was in deep thought but agreed, "They're right, we can do this. We would be able to save an entire village and Azuna said he'd pay the rest of our village the money he owes so it all works out." Kakashi had a smile on his face, "Well, glad to see that you two want to do something more than try and prove something. Now we need Sasuke's vote." "I'm in." Everyone looked over and saw Sasuke. "I do not agree with what you said, Kakashi-sensei. I have to fight that woman again who made me look like a weakling." Naruto spoke up, "Well, it all comes down to our senseis now. After all, they have last say in the matter." All the attention was on the two Jounin senseis. Ichi let out a breath and said, "I believe you three are ready for something like this. Who knows, with the shadow clones helping out, Shino's bugs as our alarms and Hinata's. By Akigan we should be able to finish this mission sooner rather than later." Kakashi added to this, "At this point I'd say only you four, points to squad 13, would be able to continue." Hinata knew why he said that since all except Sakura had injuries or rather more serious injuries. "I have too many cuts on myself, I'm suffering from chakra exhaustion, and might be out of commission for at least a week." He turns to look at Kiba. Kiba and Akamaru have some broken and fractured bones, so them helping out wouldn't be too smart. Finally he looks at Sasuke. Sasuke is in no better condition, he has some broken bones, as well as a missing right eye. Sasuke wasn't too happy about that statement. Shino spoke, "Not necessarily Kakashi-sensei?" Kakashi looked at Shino, "Your squad could be a bodyguard squad of Tazuna's home in case bandits come to kill him here." Sakura couldn't find any logic in that. What if Gato sends Zabuza here instead of bandits? Ichi spoke up, "Gato can't send Zabuza and his men here." Sakura looked at him with a questionable look, "He can't send them because Zabuza is incapacitated as well. He left the battle quickly because he was injured and his men were in no better condition. Gato may be able to pay him to do it, but he can't control his condition. If Zabuza attacks now he will be fighting me at less than half his strength." Hinata also added, "Gato will likely send his bandits here when Tazuna isn't home so that they could capture his daughter Tsunami as a bargaining chip to stop building of the bridge." Kiba said, "That makes sense, even me and Sasuke can handle bandits in our condition." Akamaru began barking in agreement. Kakashi looked at Ichi, "Then it's settled. Ichi and Squad 13 will escort Tazuna to and from his home to the bridge in case of a ninja attack, while we stand guard of Tazuna's home in case the bandits attack here. That sound like a plan?" Ichi nodded in agreement, as did everyone else. Tazuna got up from his knees, "Thank you all. You don't know how much this will mean to the people here. By saying you'll stay you've saved us all." Tazuna was crying tears of joy. Naruto felt good inside, since it meant he was helping save a village from tyranny. At the same time he couldn't shake an uneasy feeling he was getting. Something bad is going to happen, I just don't know what. was all he thought. Zabuza's hideout. 3 ninja were surrounding a bed which in it laid a sleeping Zabuza. Tetsuya was sitting in a chair with a pissed off look at the foot of Zabuza's bed, Haku was standing next to Zabuza right side, and a man with light blue hair, wearing black pants, a white sleeveless shirt, blue ninja shoes, a tattoo of the number 5 on the right side of his neck, and had a 60-inch long katana blade with black writing that said "Hell have no fury, like my undying rage," was standing on the side opposite Haku. What was unusual about the man was that his headband, the metal part, looked to be melded in the skin of his right arm. So Zabuza got his ass handed to him, huh? Looking at Haku, who still had his hunter nin mask on, Tetsuya lashed out, "It wouldn't have happened if you were there to help us, Obaro." Obaro spoke, "I would have thought that you guys could handle the attack on your own. First Daimos's guild, the Demon Brothers, are probably dead or captured. You, Tetsuya, lost to some brats, and Zabuza here is knocked out from exhaustion." He looked at Haku again, "And where were you at during all of this, Haku?" He said the last part in a sarcastic but not caring remark. Haku remained silent only to hear Tetsuya speak up again, "Leave Haku alone, Obaro." Obaro grunted and left the issue alone. They were interrupted by a short man with 2 guards barging into the room. "I hire your Nukenin to kill a helpless old man and you can't even get that done." None of the 3 said anything to the short man as he made his way to Zabuza's bed. "I'm talking to you, Zabuza." He reached out attempting to throw the covers off of him but felt a tight grip on his wrist. He looked over to see that Haku grabbed his wrist, almost snapping it. Gato yelled in pain, "Kill this son of a bitch now." The 2 guards pulled out their swords and before their feet moved, blood shot everywhere as the 2 men were decapitated where they stood. Obaro was standing behind the men with his hand on the handle of his blade and the sword still on his back. "Don't forget Gato." Obaro spoke, "You hired us to do a job." Gato's wrist was free but he was scared out of his mind. "Pull something like that again, and I won't hesitate to kill you." Gato ran out of the room leaving the 2 headless bodies of his bodyguards behind. The 3 ninja were staring at the door he just left through when they heard a voice, "I could have handled it on my own." The 3 looked at the bed and saw Zabuza sitting up looking at his covered legs. Haku spoke, "You need not worry about handling slime like him. That's what we're here for." Zabuza pulled his hand out of the covers and in his hands was a kunai knife. He placed it on the nightstand next to his bed. "It will take about a week, maybe less, to fully heal, then we attack the Konoha Leaf Ninja." Zabuza looked at Obaro, "I want you to handle Ichikaya, I'll handle Kakashi, Tetsuya you handle the 2 genin that you fought today, and Haku." Haku took off his mask and set it next to the nightstand, "You handle the blonde kid you told me about." Haku nodded, "I am your tool to be used as you see fit, Zabuza-sama." Tetsuya yelled out, "I want the blonde. I can take him when I get all of my strength back." Zabuza glared at her, his eyes were practically speaking, "You dare speak against me?" Immediately she settled down and looked away. Obaro said, "This might be fun."